which means that it's an excuse to do deeper work without people knowing we're going deep. Other than that, we're telling you that's what's going to happen.
What app is that? Insight Timer?
It's 2 apps. I'm using 2 apps. One Insight Timer and one Atmosphere to create the... I mean, sometimes I use 3 apps.
All at the same time?
Yes.
Depending on what you want.
Yeah, because when you get how like different vibes affect the stream, and you kind of experimented it for years, you just kind of know. For example, I know that the green vibe, it's good for conversations because it's more mysterious, like the X-Files, right? The Matrix. There's something mysterious, and it's like digital green versus like earthy green. You know? It's like toxic, but if you use it in a more like consciousness way, it's very mysterious. That's what I realized.
I feel like the earthy green is more calming, right?
Oh yeah. So this has a mixture, a combination of both. I test out what is effective for humanity. Like, it's, I come from a background where we focus on a lot of spiritual shit. Yeah, we focus a lot on spiritual shit, and it's that's the best gonna be. Yeah, we focus more on spiritual stuff, and I left the internet for a long time. So for me to catch back up to understanding what it's all about, and it takes time for me to understand the internet. Like, imagine this, I tapped out of the internet during the meme culture, the beginning where like memes weren't a thing before. It was just short YouTube videos that we remembered,
right.
But the word meme wasn't a thing yet until it became a thing. And that's when I tapped out for like years.
Like social media, everything, or
deactivated everything. Instagram, Facebook, I just meditated, became spiritual, incense, and just was in my own little bubble of spirituality, consciously, and choosing to step away from like the mumble rap music or just mainstream music. I don't go to the club, the bar, the everything, and it was definitely hard to get back to because it's just like, what the fuck?
What's going on?
Yeah, like, what is all this shit? Like, I don't give it, it's so... Yeah, let me make more space for you so that sign's not blocking. There we go. Good. A lot better. Put this over here. And so I've been studying a lot of YouTube culture. I mean, of Twitch culture, and I've been studying the consciousness of the Gen Z. What's going on with that culture? And they are so immersed in deep meme culture. So this meme culture, laugh and giggles and bullshit. Remember back then there was no like TikTok, or there was 4chan, but not a lot of young people were necessarily on it. Only like really nerdy people who were just like online all the time were part of that culture. But not, well, now imagine a whole generation has made it into that digital container, and it's called Reddit. And they're, I wouldn't say everybody, but the main consciousness of Gen Z is influenced by everything on the internet. And a lot of it is through politics, and you don't know if it's good intention from good people or bad people. So it's just giant melting pot of internet culture, which is such a free space. And I'm learning, and I just go on Reddit and I look at the most randomest shit.
Yeah, because they can talk about whatever it is that they want to express, right? Like they feel like they have a voice.
Yeah, so I basically see the trends of young people because they're the future, and man, they got a lot on their hands, okay? They got a lot on their hands. I found this Reddit thread called I'm 14 and this is deep. Okay? Of course, it's not just 14-year-olds, it's like everybody, but it's the foundation of, it's catering to that area, but it extends to whoever's there.
Oh, so it's like a category in Reddit. Okay.
Remember when Tumblr was a thing?
Yeah, I never really got into it, but I remember it.
Tumblr is it's like Instagram, but you put more effort into finding different giffies and images that represent your ideas and emotions. Well, this is like a giant melting pot of ideas from multiple people. And that's like a Reddit thread, also known as a forum. A forum was always there, but a forum was very curated. But now the internet is the Wild West right now, which is why it's so good for enlightenment. This is what excites me whenever I see these trails of freedom.
Yeah.
Now it's easy to get corrupted because politics, man. It's because through politics, people who are in control of the system can make real change that affect people's lives for real. But that change comes, they need people to like follow their narrative or their views too. Because if the system says one thing and nobody gives a shit, it looks very bad.
And I feel like more people are waking up to the corruption within politics as well. And the internet has a lot to do with that.
So I'm 14 and this is deep, okay? For example, let's just go to a random one. Maybe I'm just stoned, but for the love of God, what does this mean? So your parent is the pencil, and the principal is the sharpener, okay? And this is the kind of stuff that is on there. This is how I think. I'm trying to reach more younger people. Because most of the young people, they're freaking on here. But we're attracting... Well, I'm trying to help everybody. But I'm so good at helping teenagers and children that if I just have access or find a way, it would be so fast. Because I grew up helping kids for so long. Like, I was raised in a Buddhist culture, in the temple, sheltered around children. I went to Unity, which is like Caucasian, white people, some blacks. I was able to help, and they're coming from Christian views, right? Then I grew up just being around Latino children, and so I learned to see different cultures, and because I don't have, my people's not here. Yeah. When your people's not here, you tend to everybody. Just like online, we're tending to the whole world through Twitch. So.
And you still teach children at the temple, and now you're looking for a way to do it more so online.
I realize I'm teaching the whole spectrum, but the thing that we can help before it gets corrupted are the children. Adults, open-minded adults are gonna get this shit quickly. Closed-minded adults, 45 and up, oftentimes they may not get it at all, unfortunately. But that's just how it's gonna be, right? That's just how it's gonna be, and.
I know it's true, and like getting to them before the teenage years or the early 20s, and teaching them before they get to that point.
And it is sad because we as parents or as adults try to teach the children what we think is the best, but we don't ask them what they need. We just force feed what we think is good for them, and we make laws around what we think is good for them. But we have to have a halfway. Ask the children halfway, and because they're so intelligent, right? They're so intelligent.
But actually being curious and asking about what's going on in their life, you know, and hearing what they have to say rather than making assumptions.
The kids that have issues, they love coming to me. All they want to do is tell me stuff because they know I won't judge them.
Right.
Right. Welcoming Mystic Realm, baby, Mystic Deep. Whenever you love children and teens and they feel comfortable around you, if I ask children anything, they tell me everything because they know I truly care and they feel it. Same thing with adults. I ask someone like that's what it is. And now teaching everybody why, like, what does that look like when it comes to welcoming Mr. Cosmic Carly?
Hello.
Right, it's teaching what's the magic in dealing with people and how to communicate trust in a way, like how to gain trust authentically, which requires you knowing yourself, number one. Number two, you also breaking freeing your own mind and looking the part. That's that's the final part. You can have everything else, but if you don't look the part, which means you look so original that when kids look at you, they want to label you, but they're not even sure what to label you. Right? So when Evie sees me, she knows I'm dressed completely different than most people. I have long hair, I speak different, and I'm firm. But when I play with her, I'm a completely different person.
Yeah. You're like a child again.
Yeah,
playing with her.
Because I learned how to. It's like my heart warps to whatever it needs to. Like when we're talking in the group, I'm completely different. When the mood is down, I'm different. When the stream is kind of wild, how do I react? I'm more firm. When the stream is peaceful, I want to bring it up.
Right.
How's your experience with tending to? How about your experiences from medicine? How did you adjust to people? We're talking about medicine for the people, and we want to know how Mystic Emily adjusts to people that you weren't used to. How did you do that?
Well, just talking to them, because I was mainly pouring tea, so that gave me the opportunity to like sit down and talk to them, and depending on, you know, the vibe that they put off, if they were had anxiety, like that one guy that came in and he had a lot of anxiety, like just speaking a little bit softer and calmer with him. But whenever there was very, like the other lady that's here in Houston started coming to our meditation, she was very...
Celia.
Yes, Celia. She was very masculine and was very vocal and just liked to talk, and I noticed her getting in her head a little bit. So that's when, you know, she asked me for a tarot reading, but I started the tarot reading with a meditation, like more of a personalized meditation, just to like ground the energy and to calm it a little bit. So kind of responding opposite of where they are, to balance the energies out, I guess, a little bit.
So you do read them. You can see their. So you're using you can read if they're masculine or feminine. So when you see somebody feminine like Amy, the one that, what does that tell you?
I got the reserved feeling from her, like a little bit reserved, and she didn't open up as quickly, but you could tell that she felt like the love and she wanted to be in the space, you know. And I'm more masculine, so I think I relate to more masculine people in a way, just because I know how how it is and kind of what I need.
Which is why Celia went to you, and the guy and the other army guy and everything. Miss Dakota says, why do 10-year-old know about Attack on Titan? So said, watching my daughter climb at the park and other kids talk about anime. So we're talking about current culture with children. They're growing so fast. Current younger children are completely copying the next 3, 4, 5 generations of what they're doing. Is what I'm realizing. Because of the access to social media and
TikTok.
Noticing the comment section. Just like adults, like when we're in here, we can tell when somebody's typing, are they children? So kids, they look at that level of consciousness and they look for a comment section that reflect that. Which is so interesting because they're already in tune with their frequency.
Yeah, they can read it. They can see the way that they're typing and what words they're using.
So all they need is access to Reddit. And their friend's gonna tell them, Reddit, checked out this game, Reddit this. And then when they find out there's a Reddit for everything, that's where they grow so fast because Reddit is like it's like the cosmic library of consciousness where everything from light to dark is available. Which is, I mean, it's like Google, but with people's consciousness and intention, political and non-political. And luckily there's a good balance because people on Reddit are very blunt in the delivery because that's what it is. Have you been on Reddit before?
Not really. I've seen your streams whenever you go on Reddit. So yeah, I find it to be interesting because it's, everybody has a voice. They're able to research anything that it is that they are interested in and maybe stumble upon something that they didn't know existed. And I feel like children today are just different from whenever we were that age. Like they're just so intelligent and in tune, and I definitely feel like the internet has a lot to do with that. Like even like Evie, like just her energy is completely different, and it inspires me because that's our future. And to see how like the future, and I can only imagine how much they are going to grow from that age to the age that their 20s, 30s, and even older than that.
Wow, it's such a unique experience when it comes to how we raise our children and what we expose them to. Like, whenever I was a teenager and younger, I was exposed to going to Thailand in a touring program where we explored different parts of Thailand, and we went to an orphanage that for children who were they had multiple mental disorders. Some of them could not go to the restroom by themselves and were blind. There was just so many, and we just went to I went 3 years. Every 2 years I would go. And it's the most humblingest experience ever. And I saw how my consciousness grew over the couple years that every other year we would go. And I was more emotional because when we shelter our children and we don't let them see suffering, it's there. Suffering is gonna be there. And if we don't expose them that suffering is a real thing at a young age, they get manipulated because they're loving people who feel sorry for people because they're... So for any parents out there who want to humble your kids, show them suffering while you're a parent. Don't only show them the good side of existence, because people who suffer, they're going to manipulate good people out of ignorance, right? They don't know better. And so I got to see a lot of suffering. I mean, I got to suffer in America. So my parents took me to America. We were not, right? We had to see the whole, I spent my life mostly surrounded by lower income families. But school, right? I just went with that crowd, but I got to see not just low income. I was my middle school and elementary school, I was in that range. But when I went to high school, it was different. And I just felt completely not fit in. We have to really care about the consciousness of our children. And it's like we have to curate the best that we can different experiences in life. The more experiences they have, not just freeing experience, but experiences where they get picked on. They see the reality that it's not always fun and games. I was raised so sheltered that I wanted to get out, and I just found a way. My sister, imagine this, like my sister's the type that sneaks out because our parents are so sheltered, and I was so sheltered that I just looked online to go to somebody's random birthday party at the Roxy, and they were the worst people I could meet.
Yeah, I was the same. I was very sheltered growing up, and you know, we weren't even allowed to watch TV due to my religion or listen to the radio. So that was up until the age of 10 years old. And by the time I reached middle school, like I started smoking weed at the age of 18 because I wanted to explore, and I felt like, okay, well, what are my parents trying to keep me from? I want to find out what it is, you know, and just experience life.
Yeah.
But if we're able to see that suffering, like our parents, you know, showing that to us, or the world, not necessarily suffering, but the world.
It's, and sometimes we want to please our parents by succeeding in life. But what happens when that children doesn't succeed in the way the parent suggests? Do we keep pushing the child towards that path where they don't succeed? Or do we support them in their endeavor or guide them? And it's tough because sometimes we're just busy working. All the great excuses to not cater to the conscience of our children. Because why? So many people are unhappy with the job they have because they never thought they could do something they even love or like. And that's so sad that we're just working
to survive. Yeah.
And then we raise children with the vision of giving them the best life, but we teach them only to survive.
We're teaching them, you know, a lot of materialism as well, especially families that are well off, which mine wasn't, but families that are well off, you know, I know people that work 24/7. They have to hire a nanny to take care of their child. The child doesn't have that relationship with their parents, so they're not connected.
So the real parent becomes the nanny. Oftentimes in Thailand too, because there's refugees from other countries that come by, and like Myanmar is a country next to Thailand who have very low income. They're Myanmar or Burma, which they represent like the Guatemalans or Mexicans in America who work in a restaurant and just work any job because they don't have papers or they don't have legal status. And those people become nannies, and their children get raised and they speak Burmese, which is a beautiful thing, but also it shows you how much time they don't spend with their children.
And it's sad. It's sad because I've seen some of these children that are being raised by these nannies, and you can just see like the longing for them to be with their parent. And then if they don't get that attention, they end up, you know, acting out. And yeah, it's sad. It's very sad that we work so much that we can't allow ourselves to be with our own families.
And it's in the system, the way, because we don't cater, we don't give it all we have, like at every moment in life. Just imagine if every moment in life you're 80% doing your best to figure your family, yourself out, to figure out your issues. Because it's easier to just like not do it. Right? And because in reality, we are so comfortable with mediocrity, which is just being a consumer, enough to consume, which is survival, enough to survive and have a little luxury. Sometimes we get addicted to that luxury. Some people have more luxury, but most people are happy, are satisfied easily. And so their standard of satisfaction, they're happy until they realize they're not truly happy.
Oh yeah. Because once they reach that point of having whatever it is that they were working towards, especially the money aspect or work aspect. Which
means to get a corporate job, work in a cubicle, have savings, get a car, get married, enough to like survive, check off all the boxes. On 4th of July, have a barbecue with their parents, or wherever in your country. On the holiday, you hang out. On a weekday, you work. Christmas, you have a Christmas party. Thanksgiving, you have a Thanksgiving party. But you never question, are you fulfilled? That's a shocking question for many people. Are you fulfilled with your life? And most people, what is fulfillment? Right? Do you ever ask, what is fulfillment? Are you familiar with that word where you're fully filled? Your heart, you're fully filled. It's like a dreamy thing. Right? You think I'm not Will Smith or whatever movies that portray the perfect life, a moment, right? Or that might not be the best example now because he just slapped somebody. Let's go to the Reddit. Okay, here we go. Let's go scroll. Always remember that you are an influence. Always remember that you are an influence. Is somebody's life. Always remember that you are an influence in somebody's life. I think that's what it means. Every action that we take, like the children is always watching, right? And the child just copy and replicates everything they see around. Whenever the parent is cheating on each other, they know it. Whenever the parents are fighting, they learn that. Right? Everything that, if you're secretly smoking weed, they smell it. They know. Or if you're addicted to something and you hide it, they know. They can put it together and then they get on Reddit and it all makes super sense now. They can access it. Right? They connect the dots, they Google it. God dang. Google. What did you see growing up from your parents that you replicated?
Alcoholism, working to survive, abuse, unfulfillment, divorce, blaming others. Yeah.
A lot.
Everything. And it got better after time. But that was one of the reasons that I didn't talk to my dad for years is, my parents always tried to put me in the middle of their divorce and made me choose in between one or the other. And we learned everything from our parents, from our home life, from our family. But I also learned good things. I learned to treat others well. From my mom, my grandmother, and my dad. So, everybody has their positive and negative qualities that we take from them.
Definitely.
So, having empathy, working hard, I guess that could be positive and negative, right? Depending on what it is that we're working hard on.
overworking.
Yeah, which I'm starting to get better at, but yeah.
That's what whenever I saw the cause and effect thing, my master showed me very well about cause and effect, because there's so many people, like when you pay attention to why we're a certain way, we look at the parents right away. Mm-hmm. What environment did you grow up in? Mm-hmm. Did your father beat you? Did your father abuse you? Did your mother abuse you? It shows clearly, and oftentimes it's something with family, either some uncle or something, and the lack of support and the lack of care, and oftentimes it comes from low education and the lack of wisdom, and just corruption in the mind where people abuse each other because they've been abused from generation to generation, and it's just it's getting lesser and lesser because the world's becoming more educated and informed. And now we're in a world where we're so informed and educated about the issue, but we're not healing.
Yeah, even my coworker today was so interesting because we didn't get much work done. But she came in my office and was asking me for advice on, what did she ask? On how to not take everybody's emotions on and to be calm within herself. So we started talking because she knows I'm in meditation and everything. But then she started talking about childhood trauma. Like that's just been coming around a lot lately. Like a lot of people are talking about it. And then another one of my coworkers chimed in, and she was the last one I would have thought to bring up the childhood trauma, you know? So I feel like more people are aware of it, but, you know, they don't know how to heal it or let it go, you know? But forgiveness is so important, and like feeling those emotions for me was important, but not feeling them too long and learning how to just like release it and continuing to do that, you know? Whenever we think it's done, it's not.
The amount of victim consciousness and the embracing of victimhood, it's astounding. The amount of people who know their problem but don't heal is enormous right now.
Where they make up excuses of why they can't heal or why they can't clear their mind.
Or they don't even think about healing. They just completely identify as a victim, and there's a trend everywhere. Everybody's doing victim, but they're not necessarily healing. And maybe they begin, but they don't go all the way. And so when you don't go all the way, you seemingly heal, but then shit keeps coming up and they don't know why, but they, in their ego, they think they're done healing. Right? Now, this healing thing is a daily moment-to-moment thing where we're present. When we can be in a present moment and happy as we are, you are effing good. To me, that's fully healed.
Yeah. Just being in the present moment and recognizing that present moment.
Without, like right now, I can be here.
Yeah.
Things may want to rise up, but I just know that this is enough. If you can get to this state, that's enough.
Yeah. Like the past did happen, but that's not the present moment.
So the internet culture allows us to group our victimhood, multiply, and then it turns into fetishes, is what I realize. It turns into different desires online. Right? People who have been sexually abused, they oftentimes will go through to fetishes or sexual activity because of the normality.
Right.
Instead of healing, they normalize that and continue that suffering work, and there's a lot of it going on. All right, and there's different ways to deal with it. They can normalize through smoking weed. They can normalize through binging of sexual activity, or they can just go into a victim community that doesn't heal, but this is the best that everyone's doing their best, but whenever you see it all around, you're thinking like, what do people need?
Yeah, like how to help. Because if you get too spiritual, you know, it's not as interesting to the mainstream, you know? So how do you get the message clearly across without going too deep, but keeping it interesting? And I've noticed I'm too damn serious all the time, so I'm trying to lighten up a little bit, but...
No, the thing is, it's fine. Our goal is to just engage in a relaxing way, speak from the heart, and it's because you're beginning, like whenever you're on stream, you're learning like how you're learning how to be in the flow with the internet. I basically learned to speak to the chat more, right? How's everybody doing? I hope we're enjoying. Let's go to something. Let me see here. I think we could go to something. Let's see if my plan works here. Wow, thanks, I'm cured. This is what we're going to.
What is that, on Reddit?
Wow, thanks, I'm cured. News for you. Depression cured. Turns out we just need to, quote, cheer up. Okay. So it's just random stuff like this online, and because I'm learning how to relate to the people of the internet, and you have to try different techniques and ways, because relating to people, I mean, it's tough. Like whenever you're out of the loop of, I would say, spirituality, when you're out of the mainstream loop of doing things, you have to, and it's like going viral requires you exploring how the internet works, and it's not always easy to find that, or else everybody would go viral. It's like, how do you stay authentic and not sell out? Okay, that's enough. So let's look around. And the reason I use Reddit is because I don't want it to come from my own consciousness. I want it to come from something that's relatable, that people use. Because you have to open your mind to helping people, which is why I'm even opening to get a regular haircut to just look normal. But nah, I love my shit. Okay, here we go. Wow, thanks, I'm cured. Okay. I woke up. I have clothes to wear. I have running water. I have food to eat. Life is good. I am thankful. That simple.
Yeah, so often we forget about the daily things like having a toilet, having a roof over our head, having air to breathe, you know, but being grateful for everything, because people are in other countries and don't have certain things that you might have.
And, you know, when I first woke up spiritually, I realized I never said thank you for my life.
Thank you that I woke up today.
Yeah, like you never say like I didn't know that was a thing. Thank you for my life. Imagine that there's so many people who don't know that shit. How shocking that is, that they don't know and they need to be taught. Now, why aren't we teaching this shit? Because it crosses the line between religiosity. Because you can call it that, but it's not. It's wisdom. But oftentimes, the people who want to spread wisdom are religious people. Everyday people don't give a shit unless they've gone through something, and then they... Right? I don't want to generalize, but many people just would rather just get a job and to tend to each other as a cosmic tribe, as humanity, tending to each other. That's their problem, you know. Like I just take care of my problem. I stay in my lane. I don't mess with people. I shut up. And what is your experience with people in your life who may be acquaintances? is being grateful for life something that you hear?
No. And I'm around the mainstream at work 5 days a week.
Shit.
So, I mean, it's interesting to see it, though, you know, and...
But you hear, thank Jesus Christ. Thank God.
I don't even hear that much anymore.
Yeah?
You know?
I don't either, but...
I am around more spiritual people, but more spiritual ego, I think. And some of them are starting to get to doing the work, but it's a process, I think. You know?
It's definitely an interesting...
But not being grateful for your life.
It's crazy, but the issue throughout time has always been the same. Mm-hmm. The time may be changing, the ego and the lack of gratitude remains the same. Mm-hmm. That's how crazy this shit is.
And the level of complaining and gossip, I'm like, just stop.
Yeah, like nothing, like time moves, but the ego remains the same, which the amount of ungrateful people, I believe the ratio is the same. That's why there's something called awakening, which is like rare. And if this lifetime you tap into this stream of consciousness about awakening and you do the work, shit, many people still don't give a shit and don't say thank you for shit. They're still taking tons of selfie and don't say thank you. They're busy trying to get more and more, but they don't learn how to have enough.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about that whenever do you recognize that most people won't wake up?
Yeah, but I'm still hopeful for them, you know, like...
I mean, but how do you feel in that? Like, there are some people that this lifetime, they just won't get it.
It makes me sad, honestly. It really makes me sad because I'll never... Like, if they don't experience, like, the moment and the beauty of life and, like, the beauty of just being in the present moment and just breathing the fresh air, because especially at work, it's just like go, 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 stress, 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 blame, complain, talk shit on each other. And it's sad. It's not a healthy way to live.
This is why I'm obsessed with this work.
Yeah.
Because if I'm not obsessed, how can the amount of people asleep, there's so much, there's so many people asleep that I can't just like not stream, not do Mystic Village medicine for the people stuff. All of this is like leading people towards themselves. But and just because you tap into the stream does not mean you're like moving up the stream like the salmon ladder, or you right. It's very, you have to stay, it's called the beginner's mind. We talk about this a lot, where you stay hungry.
Yeah. It's always a beginning.
Because if you don't stay hungry, your old ways will kick in. You're going to start going back to sex, to having a friend with benefits. You're going to go back to smoking weed. You're going to go back to watching porn.
Alcohol.
And hey, new human in the stream. Yes, Miss Mystic Sparkalicious is here.
Good evening.
Mystic
Happy
Sharuba.
Friday.
Thank you for 17 months of loving your damn self. Good day, mate. And because whenever I saw The Matrix and I connected that, holy shit, this is some real shit, and that we can actually help people exit the Matrix, my master just told me, just help people. It's like he already knew I was on this path, just for me to keep doing it and trust that the money will come. Do the work. But I lead with my work, and everything with the money follows. Right? Just like how now I have a solar panel.
Yeah, right. I was like, what the hell is that?
Right.
But no, it's exciting.
Right. Just like, and then I bought a new, before it was a 40,000 power brick that I have. Now I got a 80,000, which is a giant one, for medicine for the people, because I'm so obsessed with helping the world wake the F up, because there's so many people that are asleep, and that's why I'm so firm.
Yeah.
That's why I'm so hungry. That's why I go out there swinging, breaking people's egos when it's time.
But my question is it better to go to places to do the work where you have more open-minded people, where they're more open to it, or to stay in the mainstream where they're super unconscious of this world, or both?
What is your experience? Because I've come to all my conclusions through studying people for years. That's why I decided to make my own shit.
Yeah.
What did you come up with?
You know, it's something that I haven't really been thinking, but I've been observing a lot lately on a day-to-day basis. And yeah, I mean, Medicine for the People, it was just such an immersive experience. And if we could do things like that, like more often, it would just be, I would be fulfilled, like completely fulfilled. And fulfillment, I'm not quite there yet, but I'm in the process of working on it. But being in the moment every day and being grateful for life and breathing definitely helps. But yeah, I think finding an exit plan eventually. And I know it's not going to happen immediately, because a lot of people that have been coming to my stream lately, they're just so stressed about work. And that's where a lot of my anxiety and panic came from. Because working for a corporate company, like, it's really, like, once you exit the matrix and you have certain experiences, it's so, like, you just have to keep reminding yourself on a moment-to-moment basis, you know? And at first I thought, you know, helping people at my work, you know, I was helping people no matter where it was, wherever I was, but
it's not enough. You want to serve.
It's not enough now, yeah.
You want to serve at a higher capacity because you can. You know what's possible. You've seen it. So Mystic Gokulo is here. Mystic Tatmans is definitely hitting a wall in therapy. Shit sucks. What happened? So the reason why here's what my experience with going to open-minded people is spiritual ego. They get stuck in what they know.
Yeah.
And they follow the money. They follow, like, the workshops, seminars, and plant medicines.
Yeah.
But the real result, I don't see it. I don't see humanitarian work from the heart, because a lot of it just, because for-profit work is different. It's like paying for a miracle. That's not how miracles work.
Yeah. And I love that you spoke on a lot of it at Medicine for the People as well.
So over and over and over. I know my role, and I don't give a shit. When it's time for me to make a statement and they're there, if they don't leave, I'm just a giant channel for what they need to hear.
Right.
And then something breaks every time, and then they find the other side because of persistence. Which is why, remember the black girl and then her boyfriend? The
one that you did the couples meditation for?
No, one was doing
the vendor.
One's a vendor. Yeah. She was doing a facilitator. She was doing a class on karma. Remember?
Yeah.
And then it was her own boyfriend who helped break through, because he was like, because he's the one with the money and funding that she wanted. Right? And he wanted the enlightenment because he had the money already, but she was chasing what he had, and he was chasing
what she had.
Yeah. Well, and he was chasing what the mystic village was.
Yeah, right.
And so they ended up there not realizing it, and it humbled both of them. Yeah. And then he was blissed out. So for her to see him blissing out, it opened her up, and then everybody got what we're doing right now is because it comes from purity and sacrifice. And I think what we're doing is just that. It's gonna take time to do this, but I'm gonna do it till I die, because when I see you, when I see the Bio Hut, when I see Rose, when I see Mystic Kata Jelly, when I see Mystic Spirit continue to do the work, Mystic Cosmic Carly, it tells me keep going.
Yeah.
When I see Evie, when I see the people, like when I see Eduardo, when I see everybody like rising up, and when I see the people who continue to do the work rise up, and when I see your family, your brother, all that,
and your family, and
my own family, I mean, the room, you know, like, you know, when I see this, it's like, keep going. It's like the angels just cheer you on, you know. Yes, I'm aware that I don't make that much money, but I'm making enough to fund the shit that I'm trying to do.
Yeah, and that's what matters.
Yeah, that's it. Like, yeah, I would love to have that wealth, but if I had that wealth earlier, I may never tap into this energy, the who I am, the mystical shit may never happen if I got money too quickly, because then I would just settle in mainstream consciousness and job, girlfriend, and casually do spiritual things on the side and not my main thing. So I'm like, so it's like I found my calling, and I know it's not an accident. Mystic Yoda says, what's your opinion on the coronavirus vaccination restriction? I really don't want to talk about it as much, but it's safe to talk about it now because, you know, but I just think I don't feel like talking about this moment because it's very political. And, but overall, in my general opinion, it's more fear-based programming. Yes, the virus is a real thing, but the fear towards the virus is bigger than that. It's doing more harm than the actual virus. And even when the virus's mutation or whatever has gotten weaker, they still were trying to push the fear, but people got sick and tired of being at home for 2 years. And the beautiful part is that it made people say, you know, F the government, we're gonna, Canadian truckers, block the damn city. Okay, Australian truckers, block the city. People in UK and France protest. It made people unite, and that's what excites me. But it's sad that we had to wait for it to get so bad for us to say some shit. I don't wait for it to get bad to speak out. And that's why I'm on here and bold, and I piss people off, and I do that not to do it, but the truth is painful, but it will set us free. And we went through pain, and I would like, imagine what we could all do if we like united.
And love our damn selves.
And it's free. Unity takes effort. You know what I'm saying? Welcoming Mystic Suko Vision. So, again, I never wanted to wear the mask, honestly. But I wore it out of understanding and respecting people. But the only reason why I think like that is because my master, he told me how it really was. And I don't want to say it because imagine this. Whenever you are tapped into somebody who is just who has really sharp intuition and is highly accurate, and that if you say something, other people would like. I lost a lot of friends through standing up for the truth, but I'd rather lose friends and stay true to what I believe. And he never, because it was more about wealth transfer. He had to think about who benefited the most from the vaccine. Amazon, because you can't go anywhere, so you're just at the amount of people, right, who produced the vaccine. Bill Gates. What happened? The company wanted to pass out the vaccines for free. What did Bill Gates say? No, charge them for it.
It's all money.
People who are in fear of death make more money. People who are scared and separated right? So the amount of people jumping on OnlyFans to survive, and right, and that fear-based thing, because what happens? A lot of small businesses close. Who survives? The corporation.
Yep.
Right. And so that gap, like they destroy, like the amount of small businesses and people's life saving that got destroyed in that time, created less competition for the corporations and more funneling towards them. All right. Yes, it's real, because you know it. But guess what? It's everywhere. Like the flu virus. Like there's so much, and we're all doing the best that we can. But people were more harmed by the effects of quarantine. They said it was just going to be 2 weeks. Remember?
Yeah.
Nobody stood. Like people waited 2 years to stand up for it. Imagine. It was an experiment. Imagine if they do it again. People
were going crazy in their homes. And I did not quarantine because I worked the entire time and I worked in people's homes. So just seeing the effects that it had on people.
And imagine this talk that we're having now, a year ago, people would have yelled at us, talk shit about us. We don't know shit. You don't wear a mask? Oh my God. That's how much fear that has been spread, and it shows you how thin people's consciousness are.
And they had a fear of leaving their house too, which is so sad. A fear of going outside and getting out of their home.
And because here's the thing, everyone knows that the media lies to us. And at our weakest point, we watch the damn news for information.
Yeah, whenever it started, I was watching the news. I would wake up at 3, 4 a.m. just stressed, wondering what was happening. That was the first 2 weeks of it, and then never watched the news again. And it lessened a lot of my fear and anxiety. It was just fueling my anxiety, I felt like. With a lot of other people as well.
Now, here's the thing. The reason why I trust my master so much, first of all, he's an all-knowing, that's why you don't talk shit about him. You talk shit about him, your life going down. Yeah. Right? Because imagine how many people he helps, the amount of merit, the amount of spiritual bank account is in it. Like how much spiritual energy is in his bank account. When you do good, your bank account is high. And he also has worked for the CIA. Yeah. Because, right? And so
their intel, right?
So whenever you know somebody like that, and they tell you shit, you don't doubt because they're in, right? But you keep them. That's why I don't share more details about where he is and all that. Because he tells you this to help you have less fear. He so that we can have this conversation and understand that, right? And like Mystic Yoda says, I think it wake up many people from the matrix, like myself. I think that thanks to Corona, people are starting to question more things. It's the beginning of an awakening phase, but the rapid awakening, like the 70s, how do they cover up the awakening process? War.
Yeah.
That's so freaking sad. It's the same shit, right? Right? People were tripping on acid, meditating, and they had the Million Man March and rally where people actually stood up for peace and were into it. They cover it up with more war, drafting people. And so the more empowered we are with wisdom, because when you have wisdom, you have a good bullshit filter. When you're watching the news, you know to not just listen to that one thing. So now I get my news from different from different spectrums, and I watch it to be aware of okay, when people come into the stream, how are they acting?
Yeah.
Right. The and how is the LGBT community, the trans community, right? What's going on in the world? What's going on with politics? How is that affecting the truth may be painful, what set you free. You have a biological gender and a gender expression, and all that is a lot of it is ego based and biological, right? And just the identity of, and then just looking at the statistics that people who transition or who are in the LGBT community, the amount of suicide is way higher than just, and people don't want to see this because we identify behind it oftentimes as gender expression, where we got harmed in our biological gender. And people, how dare you, right? But if we don't say this shit, your son and daughter will do the same shit. And so that's why a lot of kids are getting into politics earlier on, because they're being infiltrated through Reddit and all this stuff that's like everywhere, because they just want to love everybody, right? But they have to have discernment, right? It's like, okay, if you want to love everybody, there's somebody who's a pedophile, right? You have to show them, like,
detecting,
which is wisdom. When you have wisdom, you start to see, why is yin and yang a thing, right? Masculine and feminine, right? Before we can express the rainbow spectrum, we have the yin and yang first, right? But whenever one side is corrupted, it corrupts the other side, right? And it's just hard to talk about this because it's something new that the world is experiencing in like a more social and mainstream way, that and people are using it as a political stance to get leverage in their side, which is kind of sad that people care more about politics and political gain than the actual person. And that's just unfortunately how it is. But we have to talk about it because we can't bullshit each other. Like, that's why, like, I don't want to talk. So we had to tap into a little bit. So now we do a little. Where is it? How's everybody doing? Are we chilling up in here? Here you.
Is there more water?
There's some there.
Yeah, but it's good that people are speaking up about it, because that's how things change. And the more people that unite together and are on the same page, and even if they're not on the same page, but talking about their expression.
This is why I appreciate Russell Brand.
I love his YouTube.
He's gaining like a ton of following right now because he's open to both sides instead of like hating just Trump. Yeah. Right? And just hating, like, how dare you not wear a mask, or like, shit, how long do you want to wear the mask for? You know, like, not the kids whenever they right now, you don't have to wear a mask on the plane.
Oh, they canceled that?
Yeah, so everyone's cheering.
Keeping up more.
When the kids didn't have to wear a mask, what did they do? Yay!
Yeah.
Right. But this is why I watch the news, but I watch a wide spectrum so I can see what's going on, and I watch commentary of different things, but I have to see, does it make sense? Is it where's the root coming from? Like, where's the wisdom in this? Is this an ego-based solution or resolution that they have come up with? Is this more political, right? Are some people focusing more on being conservative and or liberal or whatever? And I'm always looking at what is true, right? I'm looking at what's practical, what is useful, what is the best for people's happiness in my personal view, because we have to have some sort of judgment and understanding instead of just let the scientists and the government think. We got to do our own part and have opinions and be open to other people's opinion. And we have to be willing to disagree respectfully. And this is the issue. We don't learn to respectfully disagree. And that's why we don't, and so many people just don't talk because they don't know how to have a healthy, respectful disagreement.
Well, it's important to speak so that, you know, we can learn from each other as well, because one person's perspective might open you up to something that you never really thought about or felt.
Let me be honest. I used to hate Trump. My own master told me, like, remember they talk shit about Russia, how he was Russian. Now, they didn't find shit with Russia on him. Right? And so it's like, wait. Like, and then they started painting his image as he's like he hates gays and he hates blacks. But when you look at the details, no, he's supported black people for so long, right? But there's an agenda, right? He's not perfect, right? He's not perfect.
Like, what did they block him from? Twitter? I need to start watching more news stuff.
They blocked the president while he was in office from Twitter because he was so effective. And he was rallying people. And at first I was like, I identified as Democrat, but I didn't know why, because I just thought, yeah, you should care about people and let them have choices. But I didn't, my mind was closed. My own master helped me like see both sides, that one was doing practical work and one was standing up for ideas but didn't lead to practicality oftentimes, and we had to have a balance of ideas and practical action that gives us economic success, and also, you know, helps us to that the ideas that we have are grounded, not just something in the air, right? And that's kind of uncomfortable in the beginning. And I was pissed off a lot in the beginning. Like, wow, you like Trump, right? Trump, he's a Trump lover. And then I started to see, the amount of people that hate Trump. It's just, we hate, but we don't see what is the other side offering. And now we have Joe Biden. We don't need to say much about that. So we're tapping into a little politics because he taught me that I should know some shit, because if you can, because politics is influenced by people in power, and people in power influence the way we live our life, because it's a system that helps us be more organized and have jobs and shit, so that we're not on the street living like a homeless person and savages, you know. You know, and yeah, let's just move on. I don't like to talk too much about politics but I'm opening up now because the amount of people that see this bullshit on the news now is completely clear. Right?
I mean, where we are right now.
Now.
It's very clear.
And it's like, wow, anyways, let's move away from this shit. I'm done with this shit. Okay, scroll. Here we go.
Laugh it off.
Laugh it off. Six neutral, natural, and quick anxiety remedies. Laugh it off, number 1. Which is why I always offer, like, in between seriousness, I meow or I make random ass jokes, because let's not make this shit so serious. Like, you
gotta have fun.
Yeah, you have to have fun with this, because sometimes we can go into like seriousness, but I don't want to get serious. But sometimes if we don't, then we don't face the truth that may be seemingly heavy. And once I'm comfortable with it, now I'm flowing. It's not heavy now because I'm aware that people's consciousness change. And so we're just like, okay, let's just chill the F out. Right? That's why there's theater in it. I naturally go into this acting thing where it's just like, wow, okay, next, all right? Whatever it is. Because you have to have the yin and the yang. So we're diving into the dark side, and we exit through it. That just little laugh it off, that little dot of light helps you get into the yin side where you're like, clear.
Yeah, have that balance.
Exactly. How are we feeling out there? Mystic Yoda says, I'm enjoying your conversation from Sweden. Oh, it's the Swedish.
Swedes.
Very interesting. Isn't all media controlled by big corps in USA, BlackRock and Vanguard? Yeah, I think so, but I remember watching some Red Pill video about that, and BlackRock and Vanguard own most of the planet. Whoa. That's like, I think they own most, like in stocks.
The planet?
Yeah.
That's huge.
I mean, yeah. That's like they own most of the money on the planet. Which is like, I don't know how much, like, it's like 600 trillion or something. I don't know what the number is, but whenever I saw it, I was just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
Anyways. And also, the makeshift city in Burning Man is called Black Rock City.
The main city in Burning Man?
In Burning Man, they call that the city in Burning Man, which is just the diagram, is Black Rock City.
Wow.
So yeah, and so the amount of rich people that go to have that
Experience.
$2,000 camp out with the experience. Now, not all of them are like that,
right?
But there's a ton of people who are bringing like this sophisticated DJ vehicle in the middle of the desert. Is crazy, and it's like an escapist paradise for people who can afford it.
Well, a lot of celebrities started going to it as well, right?
Yeah. Musicians. Right. I saw a picture of somebody with Skrillex.
Oh, really?
And Taiko, the music I listen to, they performed there. And Sunrise, everybody's all, and people don't sleep. And then Paris Hilton, and the amount of thing. It's dope, and now guess what? Google owns it. What the hell? I mean, maybe it's just a coincidence that it's called Black Rock, but I mean, shit, I don't know.
I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm open to the positive side that maybe there's a right, like it's too closely related because it's such a fantasy world, and for that to happen, it requires a lot of just wealth that you have to throw at it.
I think it would be so interesting to go to it because I've been hearing about it for like 10 years, maybe more.
We're gonna like 1,000%. We going like Mystic Village people who are committed. My goal is to get everybody to come to like medicine for the people and different events. When we can like find a way to reach like the millionaire level so that we can and maintain it, then we can get more people we can just do this officially. We we're just on social media promoting this peer thing and not trying to make money.
It in your city as well.
Exactly.
Like not just going to these spiritual events for the, experience, but bringing it to your cities.
We have to make it trendy, unfortunately, because that's what needs to happen.
That's what people look for.
Right.
Yeah.
That's how you spread the message. But it's in process. It's in process. The amount of time that you need to invest on social media is to break through from it, you have to study it. It's a trial and error. Like the amount of time it took for me to get partnership, that was like 3 years. But I stayed true to my brand and myself. And I was able to do it without kissing people's ass.
Right.
And that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to do that with social media, be authentic. And that's why I'm just super raw when it comes to the digital world. Right. Okay, here we go. What's here?
I need to get on Reddit.
Okay. Marriage is hard. Divorce is hard. Choose your hard. Chastity, what is that?
Chastity.
Obesity is hard. Being fit is hard. Choose your hard. Bring in depth is hard. Being financially disciplined is hard. Choose your hard. Communication is hard. Not communication is hard. Choose your hard. Life will never be easy. It will always be hard. But we can choose our hand. This is a quote that I heard. The person that says I can and the person that says I can't are both right. So it's more of a conscious choice that I can do this. I can make Twitch work. I can find a fulfilling job. I can find a way to fund what I'm doing. I can be financially free. And to just keep working at it because you're hungry for your dreams. So we're willing to do the hard things because we have a vision. Do you have a vision?
I have dreams. I have a vision. I think my vision's more so like long term of people just like being in peace and like treating others with kindness and just not stuck in our old negative perception and views, you know, just living in more love and more people seeing the beauty in life.
Which is the long-term goal.
Yeah, that's definitely the long-term goal.
Yeah. And then eventually you have the big goal that seems impossible. Then you start to work backwards, right? Okay. So you have to just make up shit. Like, for example, me, I want to unite humanity through love your damn self. Each city, I want every Sunday to have a global world peace meditation every Sunday at the park. Everybody gets together, free meditations, every major city. Yeah. Right. And then through that process is a learning to be financial wealthy so that I can also travel if I need to. Continue to cultivate this, continue to cultivate locally, and be a content creator. But I don't want to create content if I'm, if I need to pay the bills. Now, if I make money through content creating purely, then content creation owns me. Right. If I make money through stocks, then I own myself, which means that I can get on and off anything when I don't have a boss. And that is the vision my master shows me.
Yeah, that would be the dream, right?
Imagine whatever you want to do in your life, you can fund it without needing to make videos for YouTube or for Twitch. But when you get on for the purity of helping humanity. I love that freaking vision so much.
And not having to charge people, just doing it from the purity of your own heart. Exactly. And helping others.
Exactly.
That's what it's all about.
Thank you, Mystic Magic Kingdom, for 5 months of loving your damn self. And that is called a dream. That's called something, like, you don't know how you're going to get there, but it's inspiring enough to where before I didn't give a shit about stocks and crypto. Right. My master, you know what? That's how he funds everything. He has investments. So that instead of begging from people, people want to invest in him because he's been helping people for years. Right. To where people just send him checks because they know that he's going to help somebody with it. Right. He's
going to use that money or whatever it is that they give him to help others.
So that's why I'm opening to trading. Yeah. And where before I would not think that as a possibility.
Yeah. It's also allowing us to be free in our lives away from the system and
And I want to master, like I want to be able to teach others to trade too, so that we can all trade and take care of our family and fully commit to serving humanity. Right? Imagine having a team of people who not worry about money, but are fully committed to purely helping humanity. That is the Bodhisattva team. That's like the Archangel team. And that's what I'm trying to assemble, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, it would allow
that's what the
us
Buddha
more
did.
time to help others.
Train everybody around them. They're bodhisattvas.
Yeah.
Which means instead of trying to reach enlightenment and be like the Buddha, they're the servants of like this enlightened being, so that they can go out there and relate to people and connect with them right where they're at. But there needs to be something that like the center. So I'm trained by that kind of being enough for me to come here, so that you can get like, instead of like spending time with my master, I just make the information so much easier that we can all grow quickly
from that.
Right? And we all have specialties. Now my specialty is more intuitive and third eye gifts. Some people, they have the gifts of speaking, but it's for us to be a complete being and find our niche. We can all do everything, but what is your niche? Right? And so, because everybody has mystical gifts, and the more we surrender, like I still live with my parents. They pay the insurance, and I pay for everything else. Right? But it's because our spiritual, we need the middleman, right? He's a channel for like, I mean, if Jesus was alive, it would be my teacher. But we don't want to compare, because the people who work for the universe is no one. Because there's no ego. That's why they're called the Buddha, because they're not the Buddha. And they teach us that Buddha nature, but without them, it's like I knew all the knowledge already, but he was willing to chop me like completely off, like, and I saw, wow, I'm attached to my ego. Imagine he pissed you off, like he pushed every button to get you to be angry at every little thing.
Because he knows.
So that you can realize you're still attached to that. But it takes time and effort, and he has to like check, are you about this life? Are you about this life? And when you're about it,
and if you keep coming back, and
for 2 years I went to the temple,
even if it hurts, but returning. I
almost thought of quitting one time. It's just like, okay, I suck, man. I get yelled at the temple, but I didn't know he was training me, and I didn't know what was going on. But whenever it clicked, I was like, oh my God. No, when it clicked, I asked, at the peak of my like complete ego being broken, welcoming Mr. Killer Queen. Hey, shout out to Mr. Killer Queen. Okay, let's maybe let me follow. Before that breaking off process, where I was like, damn, I suck. I F up everything at the temple. I'm not good enough. And then I asked myself, what is my loving master trying to teach me? My compassion at the end, in hell. I believe in the light. Like as he was, like when he was grilling me at that time, every time in temple, embarrassing me, like
in front of others.
And I knew you don't run from heat. When he gives you the heat, many people run away. Me, I follow him around, just accept it, because I knew he was teaching me something, but I didn't know what. And then I asked, what is my loving master trying to teach me? Then I realized, and then I'm angry because I'm so attached to my freaking ego. My ego's angry. That's not me. I'm not the ego. Whenever I feel like shit, I don't feel like shit. My mind feel like shit. When he's yelling at me, he's yelling at I only hurt because my ego is hurt. I'm identifying, and that's when Like I got the message. And it just was like stillness, like my mind, like that's why I'm the way I am today. And now I can deliver the heat now because I get the sacrifice of having to give people the heat so that they can wake up. But for other people, I'm more gentle. But people who care about enlightenment and awakening, I would shop them too. But most people don't care about that, so I don't I don't do that anymore because many people, because I'm just regular. I'm no one.
Yeah, you know? You're a lot more gentle now.
Yeah, I'm no one.
Yeah.
And whenever I was getting chopped, then I learned to center from that. The inside is centered, but on the outside, you have to learn to be useful and effective. Right? It's like being fiery all the time is good for training bodhisattvas, archangels, and light workers. Most people don't want that Moltres energy. They don't want Charizard. Yeah. They need the Chansey. They need the Pikachu. They need the Jigglypuff. Right? Or they just need a Psyduck. Psyduck, right? And so we have to be aware, are we scaring people off? Right? So that's why when you go to the army or anything, you're getting Charizard, you're getting that's hell. Because being in hell, it breaks you so that you can never be broken again. So no matter whenever my emotions get into a bunch, or then I just instantly, my ego's reactive. Oh, my sexual energy is higher. Or, my desire is higher. I just notice it and I question it. I just watch it. Like, where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Which is why I'm back to meditating like 45 minutes again, morning and night.
Yeah, I started meditating longer as well.
So now I just do it live on the stream, both stream, because my short-term goal now, I want to heal people diseases through the internet. And that requires me connecting to the medicine Buddha more, and that desires from the heart. Because I'm like, it's possible, it's been done, but I don't pursue it but I realized doing physical miracles creates more faith. Helping people gain wisdom gets people to open their mind, but it doesn't necessarily build their faith. When people experience something that's unexplainable, like healing through energy healing, then they go, how did that happen? Then I go, I didn't do it, the cosmos did it. It's crazy how it works.
Yeah.
How are we doing, everybody? Welcoming Mystic Everline, Mystic Annabelle. And I'm just revealing to you what the mystic journey and life, what it takes to, the amount of sacrifice. When I was training with my master, I was broke as hell and I was still streaming. I was getting $50 to $100 a month from streaming on Twitch. And that was my income. And to make, to have some cash flow, I was selling my camera equipment. I was doing massage because I'm a certified massage therapist, but not a licensed. And so I got through. But for me to find a mystic path, I had to just be broke. Because being broke, the mind thinks it's broke. But your spirit can never be broken. So what do you feel from hearing that? What did you hear? What did you learn so far?
Oh, I love when you spoke about like when he would throw down the hammers but you realized it was just your ego that felt hurt, and it was your ego that felt the pain. And whenever you realized that he was trying to teach you something, you just felt like the stillness. Like it couldn't break you anymore, because you realized what it was.
6 months, sister, he did that.
Yeah,
Imagine
that's
that.
a long time. And I'm sure you would come home
I would come to the stream on like yelling at people on the stream and shit. And I'm like on stream meditating an hour, and I would, right? And I would just like, cause I'm dealing with my own thing while still live streaming. And this is what, at that time, the biohut entered. And so the biohut got that same energy. And Mystic Kata at that time was there, and then many people were there. And to be through that phase with me was, you got trained too, to say the least.
Yeah.
You got trained too.
In person and online. But no, I feel like you asked the universe for your teacher, for the best teacher. And I mean, did you know that he existed before you asked the universe for that? Or how did you find him?
I knew he existed, but I didn't know what he was.
Right.
He's known to be a local, he's known in the Asian community as the psychic. The psychic you go to. But when I really find him, then I realized, holy shit.
Well,
this is a living Buddha.
I went to go see him that one time, and just the energy that, it was an experience for sure. Kind of unexplainable.
I'm very emotional when it comes to this shit, because the amount of sacrifice on a daily basis, and to this lifetime that I got to in Houston, Texas, by the way. This is in America, out of all places. It's like, it's unreal. Sometimes I feel like, is it real? Like, it's too good to be true, but it's true.
But you asked for it, and you were ready for it as well.
It just humbles the F out of me. And look what we have online. It's so beautiful. It's tough. I know sometimes it's tough, this work, but we just keep showing up, and something clicks eventually.
Yeah. Don't give up.
Because imagine if I just left the temple, but I don't know how to give up. I'm just so bad at giving up, and that's why I'm on this journey. Enlightenment and awakening. Yes, please. Okay, where do I start? Where's the manual for this shit, Is there a YouTube thing for awakening?
Yeah. You
just have to trust and make it up as you go. And that is the scary part. There's no blueprint.
Trust.
There's a blueprint. Buddha, Jesus, Gandhi, all these greats, the Bodhisattvas, Kuan Yin, and all these people before, the Dalai Lamas, Thich Nhat Hanh, all these awakened, enlightened beings. It's like you ask a kid, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? I choose Buddha. I choose enlightenment. I choose awakening. But I still don't know shit.
Yeah. Know nothing.
It humbles you whenever you...
It does. I remember when I first found out about... Well, I had always heard the verbiage enlightenment and spiritual awakening, but I heard 5D. I got this Akashic reading about 2 years ago. And after I got that reading, it was just like, that's what I put all my focus on. I was like, okay, meditation. So I need to do meditation. But it's like you hear about these things and it makes you curious, but you don't know what to expect. And I mean, you know nothing. We all know nothing. It's always just the beginning. And it's the beauty of it.
To actually begin this path, you have to have big ego.
Yeah.
You have to have big spiritual ego to begin this journey, because you have to desire something that you can't get.
Yeah. I was like, 3D to 5D. What is this? What's going to happen?
Wow. And so we've ended up finding like mushrooms and plant medicines. Now you know why. Like now that you are exposed to like pure happiness. Now you know why I stand so firmly about it, because we both have done a ton of drugs.
Yeah. And yeah, the feeling that I got off of drugs, but just realizing that we don't need the LSD, we don't need the mushrooms, we don't need the marijuana, we don't need the alcohol. Like, we have that happiness and that bliss within us. And it's just
And the amount of ego, the amount of humbling that you have to do to detach from your attachment to these psychedelic experiences, because you think it's connection to God, but every moment is the connection to the universe, God, the infinite, the spirit, the love, the all is one, the agape, right? Whatever you want to call it, Christ consciousness, nirvana, it's now. But the ego wants to travel somewhere to like find enlightenment and take some frog acid and snort some rapé or whatever the heck we want to do, smoke, shards, smoke dabs, and just get super high thinking that we're connecting to aliens, but it's just really our mind. And the process is to just be. What? Just be. That's boring though. And so the ego continues. I can't just be like...
I need to be doing something, right?
Yeah, it can't...
I need to be going somewhere.
Just imagine the Buddha sitting there. 49 days sat. I'm not leaving until I figure this shit out. And then it clicked. There's nothing to look for. Holy shit, I've been looking for it the whole time, but there's nothing to look for. This is just it.
Yeah, the moment.
And then exit the matrix. Anyways, okay, we're going deep shit. How do you meditate? Is it just focus on your breathing? Mystic Spirit says, wasn't aware of spiritual ego until entering this community. Because it makes money to follow spiritual trends. I mean, look how much yoga pants cost from Athleta.
I spent so much money on crystals.
I mean, imagine how much singing bowls cost. How much, imagine a yoga membership, right? How much that costs a month.
I'm still attached to my yoga classes a little bit.
No, it's fine. Yoga is fine. I'm just saying the
amount of money that they're making,
the amount of money,
it can be pure, and I understand.
And literally in India, they're teaching yoga at ashrams for free. But in America, we don't know how to do that because we've been raised to profit.
Yeah.
So that's why many people are going to that frog acid that they're doing now. I forgot what it's called.
They're traveling for it now, right? Because it's like in Brazil or something like that.
No, they're bringing it here.
Oh, they're bringing it here.
The shamans are flying here directly. They have the frog here. They extract the frog poison onto a glass. They process it and then they smoke it.
I can't remember
in the forest of America.
I didn't know that they were bringing it here.
The plant's legal, but processing the plant to make ayahuasca is not legal. But they're making it more legal now because it's helping people with healing, which is a great thing. But many people are just... It's another medicine.
Right.
Xanax work, but don't abuse it.
Yeah.
And if you're taking Xanax for all your life, are you healing? If you're smoking weed, people don't want to hear this shit. Why we love taking drugs?
We're relying on something outside of ourselves to heal us rather than us going to the root of the problem.
Now, I respect the tank drums, the crystal, right? Because it works. It's fun.
They're tools.
They're tools and they're fun.
Oh, I love my singing bowls and crystals still. And I have the bracelets on, so...
I had the bracelet on. But I want to get out.
Yeah, it was somewhere.
it works because it's fun, but you have to see, where does it lead us? To the moment. Well, where's the moment now? Yes, enjoy the dope music, right? Enjoy the shakers, right? You just right? You could do all of that. It works, but it all leads to now. That's why I don't need to. That's why you don't see me doing like I don't explore too much. In my container, I grow a little because because if you do too much, then and you can't process it, then like for example, we're talking where I'm not thinking, okay, we need to do music. This moment and our interaction with our brothers, sisters, and mystics on the stream is the most important thing. This dialogue is so priceless. And I'm trying to create. That's why I'm focusing more on talking. Like Mystic Jenny says that she learns a lot more from this stream when we're talking than the card readings, because we're just diving right into the information. Now, card reading gives people validation. But now, instead of doing a card reading, I just talk and I become curious about what people say, and it's.
Just having that open dialogue and conversation. It's
a flow. There's a flow. I can see there's a flow, right?
And sometimes it allows others to have a voice as well.
Exactly.
You know, so.
Exactly. This, see, Mystic Killer Queen is here. Let's see, give some shout out to Mystic Killer Queen. She's a good lady. And who did I miss too? Somebody is. Thank you for being here, everybody. Mystic Annabelle. Ask about meditation. Mystic Lady Moon Whisper has arrived. And Mystic Spirit is here too. Shout out to Mystic Spirit.
Good evening, everybody. Happy Friday.
Mystic Spirit says, interested in crystals due to the healing properties. Same with singing bowls, tank, steel drum, tongue drum, and chimes. Exactly. I have all of that, right? Because they work.
Yeah.
But they all lead to you are the singing bowl, you the tank drum, you are the chime, you are love. And then you're nothing.
It's all within.
And so, but it's all a process. We have to explore to find. And when we realize what we're looking for is something that is within, what we're looking for, we already have. Now we know people like dope quality. We know people like cinematic camera movement. We understand what people want, but how do we find a middle way so that we give people and share what will benefit in their life, blooming and transforming? Are you going to share this talk anywhere? Like, some platforms have a time. I would love to re-listen. I can repost this. Okay.
Sorry.
You're good. I can repost this whole stream on YouTube. You can also re-listen to this stream on twitch.tv if you just turn off the sound. But if you, through your requests, I can post this on Spotify and on Podbean. So YouTube and Spotify, right? But the downside to Podbean is it limited me from live streaming, streaming it, because it's a 5-hour talk that we're having. You know what I mean? Or 3-hour. Most podcasts aren't that long, but I've managed to be able to talk for 4 hours or 5 hours. Because why? This infinite energy from the cosmos. So thank you for inquiring about today's stream being reposted. Mystic, it is hard to cover these kinds of topics in only an hour. Yeah, you don't get that much from it. That's why I'm on here 5 days a week, because I have Saturday to do and Sunday to do. I have real life. You know. I'm not sure where this would lead, but I believe that there will be a time of awakening and people will flock to spiritual knowledge and wisdom. I've been thinking, is this where I belong, or do I need to jump into a bigger ocean like YouTube? Do I continue opening my mind? It may take me more time to grow on YouTube. But it's not time yet. Once I can start making YouTube videos, then I think it'll be time to transition to a bigger platform. Because this platform isn't necessarily, you have to find a bridge, you have to find a bridge. You can't just jump to another platform without, right? You don't want to grow from scratch. You want to find a funnel. Somebody asked, Mystic Annabelle asked about meditation. How do you meditate? Is it just focusing on your breathing? Let's get Mystic Sparkalicious, Mystic Emily, to speak on when you're at home meditating, what do you do?
What do I do currently? I just find a comfortable position. Recently, I've been sitting on a cushion because that helps me sit straight for a longer amount of time. But I just relax my body fully and relax my face, my shoulders, because throughout the day, I've noticed my body can tense up sometimes. But just putting all of my focus on the breath and breathing in, feeling the airflow going through my nostrils, down my throat, down the spine, and then slowly breathing out. And just focusing on the breath and continuing that. And if thoughts arise, recognizing the thoughts as they arise. And if it's a reoccurring thought, I notice it and then I let it go. And music helps me a lot.
What do you listen to?
I listen to sometimes ambient music like nature sounds. If I can't get out in nature, I love meditating in nature as well, like just sitting under a tree anytime that I can. Just get outside on a beautiful day. But in the morning, just having that consistency and starting the day off with myself and giving myself that time to me and that self-care and that love to just be. And that's what meditation is for me. But depending on what I need in the moment, sometimes I om. If I have a lot of energy and I need to get that energy out, if I need to ground, just focus on what it is and recognizing the feelings and emotions that I have at that time and giving myself what it is that I need.
Yes, oming works very well in clearing the mind, especially when you practice. You can do different tones and it neutralizes your mind pretty quickly, especially whenever I start to do it on... Like, I notice when my first big om on stream, my mind, the way my brain waves, like it changes to, my tone of voice starts to lower. I'm feeling different. My intuition's sharper and more clear. Things come to me. And then I could read, like, everything's more clear on every level. And I start to settle in my posture. For me, whenever I meditate, I mean, you see it on the stream, but I don't use music unless other people request it on the stream. Because pure silence, it's pure. Silence is just, it just is. There's nothing, there's no stimulant.
Yeah, I love that.
And to learn to just have no inputs other than with your breath, your mind is more, you can notice your mind more clearly. The music, it eases the mind.
You don't have like an outside source.
Yeah, there's nothing stimulating relaxation other than your own will to face what you need to face. But now it's pleasant experience with music. I used to do it with music, especially I used this exact sound for years. And I would use let go. Mentally I would say let go. Because I had so much shit that I was thinking and carrying for like 3 to 4 years. Let go for an hour or 30 minutes, 45. Whatever came up, I would accept. That's there. In the beginning, I erased it. Anything that arises, I didn't even look at it. Oh, it comes up. Let go. Mind clear. Clear. So I learned to be neutral before I face my thoughts. So that's why when I face my thoughts, I'm able to face them with ease because I always know the neutral gear. But then, but let's be more practical. I don't want to share too much about technique. The practical way that I do, I sit in, if I'm going to sit 45 minutes meditation, I'll start with a full lotus, and as my leg gets super blood restricted, then I'll loosen it to this. Or I'll just, as my left leg loses blood flow, or I just let one leg down like this, and I just let it flow. I sit there. I make sure that my elbow is comfortable because my arm is long, right? And I just let my hand stack each other. So I find a very comfortable position to be in because I'm going to be here for a while. I'm not worried too much about moving around, but once I get into it, I close my eyes. When I close my eyes, my hearing is heightened instantly. Then I go right to my breath. And I relax. Then I check my posture. Do I feel complete? Do I feel in a flow? Maybe I get my hand to stack closer, but I stay comfortable. I focus accurately, precisely on my nostrils and focus on the flow of breath at my nostrils. I don't breathe too hard or too light. I know that sometimes the body naturally breathes deeper to get more oxygen. When there's oxygen in the lungs, you can breathe more shallow, which I let my body breathe shallow from time to time, or not breathe at all. Imagine that you're like, when your body is asleep, your breathing will become like that. From time to time, you take a deep breath. Then when you're in the flow, there's time where you pause and you don't need to breathe. So it's very natural. I just go with the way how my body wants to breathe. I make sure my body is relaxed. My mindfulness of my posture always check in. I let my body bend a little because it's comfortable. If my lower back is in pain, then I slightly lean forward to adjust to what my body needs so that I'm not in pain the whole time, but it's a little pain is fine. Sometimes my mind wanders off, but I notice. When I notice, I accept, reconnect with my breath, noticing the thundering sound. I relax my facial muscles. I begin to ease and enjoy just sitting here with my breath. When I start to think about time, that means I'm not present. I do my best to not look at the time at all, because I'm here to be here, nowhere to go. But sometimes you gotta check the time, because sometimes you forget to press the start button. I've meditated for an hour and a half before because I thought I started a timer, but I didn't. But guess what I learned? It's okay that you check the time. Don't be attached to not checking the time. If your heart tells you, look at it, it's okay. If you need to scratch your ass, don't feel bad that you need to scratch your butt. Right? If you need to drink water and tea, it's okay that you do. It's not about perfection. It's about following the flow, noticing the flow, only to realize you are the flow. Everything in the moment is the flow, because all is one. So it's pleasant and light. Now some days I have more heavier thoughts. Just being real. Scratch that itchy butt. Sometimes maybe you have more stress. I don't allow myself to get too stressed out. I go to peaceful reasoning. What is that stress trying to teach you? So, you need to learn to be more disciplined with the way you spend money. You need to learn to save money in case something happens. If you need to pay due to cars. Don't be attached to money. Maybe you lose $200 from whatever it is. Maybe your master breaks your singing bowl to humble you. Maybe you get dumped. You lose your job. So I just accept what is, and I look at the optimistic view. Everything, my master says, when one door closes, another one opens. I always look at life that way. Before I even met the master, but he just drilled it all deeply into my soul even more. That's how I speak for 4 to 5 hours nonstop. My mind is so clear that I'm just a channel. And when people come to judge, I check my ego. It's my mind and ego that gets irritated. And meditation helps me to check my mind and ego when that happens. And that's why I'm able to speak the truth that may piss people off, because I love them too much to bullshit them. But when they're not ready for the truth and I tried, I love them enough to give them to get back to myself and love me too. To be silent after you have spoken loudly. So that's after 45 minutes. I feel clear, empty. You feel light, pleasant, beautiful. My tone of voice, I found this through meditation. All the visions of becoming a visionary, meditation. Talking to spirits, meditation. Learning to guide meditation, I did visualization. before I was talking to anybody, I was talking to imaginary people through meditation. I was talking to imaginary audience through meditation. I started telepathically talking to the Buddha through visualization, and the Buddha told me, let go. So I didn't get here by myself. No one gets anywhere by themselves. We're backed by our ancestors all the time in knowledge. And there's something beautiful always happening if we pay attention. And I began to have more faith through meditation because I was tapping into some things that were unexplainable when people thought I was crazy in the beginning. I started talking to spirits and people's children who passed away, and people thought I was crazy and shit. And so whenever you tap into meditation, the impossible becomes possible. Right? So that's the end of the meditation shit. Let's be clear. What has meditation taught you?
Meditation, it's so much. Like, so much. It's taught me to be more connected with myself, to be more connected with those around me, to have compassion for others and how they treated me. Taught me to let go of a lot that I was holding on to. And it has taught me peace within, happiness within, that it's all within. And every day, every moment is a new beginning, and to be more present in the present moment as well. And we can always return to meditation, to the breath at any time, wherever we are, because it's what we'll always have a breath if we're living. We can always return to it no matter where we are. It's
so poetic, it's like so simple. That's why I cried. That's why I teared up when I found, when you meditate and you experience the beauty of now.
And the simplicity and the beauty. It's
so magical. It's
like you never noticed it before, but it was always there.
That's why it excites me. In the beginning, I was very into teaching meditation. But now I realize that I like teaching it generally, just enough for people to get started, because the deeper tools, many people are teaching it. But many people aren't doing the intervention work to help people wake up and become spiritual. They're catering to spiritual people, which are few.
Which is, are you talking about the love and light only?
Yes,
yeah.
Yes, which is and which they're just people. But whenever I accept that being spiritual it's about being authentic and being genuine, it changed my outlook on spirituality completely. I used to think spirituality, to be spiritual, is doing mushrooms.
Yeah.
Because you connect to something that's unexplainable. I thought, to me, that is the most spiritual shit ever. So I grew mushrooms. I've grown weed, all that, because I just think it's cool. When I give my life to shit, that's how much I get into stuff. Whenever I did photography, I did film photography because I wanted to prove to myself, do I love it? So I did black and white film. I processed it, I scanned it, and I did color film on my bathroom, and then I have it on my old Instagram. Holy shit, right? Right. Whenever I would get into basketball, I was playing basketball 5 hours a day, and I was playing with the best people at UH downtown. And it was so bad that they thought I was playing with college level people, and I was shooting threes and knocking them down. And I was one of the only Asian people, and they respected me and all that stuff because I gave my life to the things I do. The women that I love, I gave my attention and love,
all your love to them. And
that's why in the past women treated me so well, because I just, whenever they showed me love, I gave it all I got. So I had but a lot of times it was long distance relationship because I could only offer emotional value, but I didn't know how to make money. I didn't know how to have interpersonal, because long distance we become about more ideas and emotional, and it's something that's not it's not something that's practical. And that's what I was good at, the emotional, the energy part. Right? And on top of that, we were I was very sexually involved with them. I was having phone sex and all that. She would pay for a phone card to have phone sex with me for years, and then because that's what I thought was love. I didn't know better, and it would get, and that would happen with different people. I would have a lot of long distances because I was able to hold energetic and mental ideas of love, but I didn't know how to show up in their city and make it and go further the next distance because I didn't have that ability. And so that's why when people talk about long distance, I've been through that shit. I've had so many. I have four long distance relationship.
So you never met them in person?
I've met them a couple of times, but it was never. It was more it turned sexual more than anything, and I didn't know how to turn it into a concrete relationship because I just didn't know how.
Yeah.
And I was I didn't have the money to hey, move in with me, let's get married or whatever, which was also a blessing in disguise because I was just so lovingly naive and so lovingly ignorant, and I just wanted to please the women. I'm a people. In the past, I was a people pleaser because I was looking for my mother. I was looking to make my mama happy because she was so unhappy with her life. I just wanted to be a good boy. I wanted to be a good boyfriend, and that's all I could offer: the goodness of a boyfriend, but not much else. And until I just had super heartbreak that led me to hell consciousness and drugs and seeing crazy shit, almost dying because I was looking for love. And apparently I just wasn't meant to go, and so I'm still here. So I'm letting you know all this because so many people are in long distance relationship because it's more of an idea and thing, because we don't know how to just be happy with us now.
Yeah. So many people are searching for love.
And we go online to do it. And so we get
dating apps. Yeah.
And we have intimacy online, but it doesn't always relate to in-person relationship. And it needs to. So there's so much that I could speak about, so many things. It's just, but at the end of it, I'm just doing my best to offer. We're just doing our best to. How about you? Have you ever had something? You had a job and everything. You've been. You had to find a job earlier on.
Yeah, I started working whenever I was 16. The day I turned 16, I went out and started looking for a job because my mom was a single mom, so we didn't have much money growing up. But I was blessed because, I had a car, I had a way to get to work, so went out and got a job whenever I was 16, but I was always very independent, and very driven. We grew up in a very small town, and I always said I'm moving to Houston as soon as I turn 18, just to get out of that small town, that I grew up in, because everybody knows everybody's business, everybody talks about each other. It's a very small town, so things revolve around that city or the small town. So, yeah, I started working whenever I was 16 and got into the party stages at a very young age. Started smoking weed when I was 14, drinking whenever I was 16, going to parties, and
you could afford it because
I worked.
Yeah,
you know. So yeah, my mom paid all my bills and everything, but I made money to escape and get out of the house, you know, because my brother, he's 8 years younger than me, so I grew up basically babysitting him after school. So any chance I could get, like, I just wanted to get out of the house and live my own life, I think is what it was for me.
Well, you're very independent, and that's how I think that's how your mother is also. Right?
Yeah, my mom's very independent. Like,
your father seems independent, but he's very codependent, it seems.
Super, yeah. And you haven't even met them, but you already know.
Yeah, you already know. You already know.
Yeah. Like my dad, even to this day, like he has all these grand ideas of, you know, I was talking to him 2 nights ago, and he has all these grand ideas of how to make money to where he doesn't have to, like, go to work every day, you know, be his own boss.
Hit the lottery.
Well, no. He's thinking kind of outside of the box, which I commend him for. But he has all these ideas, but never, like,
doing it.
Completes it. You know, he'll go from one idea to the next. And for me, like, whenever I find something I'm really interested in, I put my all into it. Yeah. You know, like, all my focus goes into that, kind of like you.
That's what I noticed with the Archangel Squad. We're all like that. Like, whenever it's right, we give we commit.
Yep. For me, it was drugs, alcohol.
That's why we do so much drugs, because we're like, when you, like, the worst point that I got was I bought a bag of Molly, got a hotel with a girl, and just did Molly and smoke weed.
Yeah. And that was your life, right? That was your life.
We put it in orange juice and drink it like straight powder. Even though it's bitter as hell, you don't care. You just want to get
It hits you faster.
Exactly. Yeah, you don't care.
It hits you faster.
Because at that point, you're not thinking about, like, bitterness. You're just saying, let's get fucked up and get horny.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or let's do Molly, like, going to the rave. How much are you going to do? 3 ecstasy and 2 Molly, because it lasts longer. The ecstasy lasts longer. Molly's is very strong, so you have all these, like, you become a really professional.
And then you start candy flipping, like, okay, well, if I do this one and then I mix it with this, then I'll get this high from it.
Yeah. Or you know that this one lasts longer, so your approach is different, right? But you always take care of yourself. You know to drink water, you
hydrate,
orange juice or whatever.
If you drink orange juice, though, then it lasts longer, so you can make that high.
Yeah. So or taking 5-HTP, the mood enhancer. That's what, you know. And then whenever I was smoking weed, the same thing. I was seeking out. I wanted to smoke exotic stuff, because why? You want to know the best of the best, which was the AK-47.
The sour diesel.
And Afghan Kush, which is like the strongest weed I've ever smoked. And that's why I got caught up with the police and stuff. Like, at that point, you just don't give a shit about your life.
Oh, yeah. I got arrested and went to jail 3 times. My 21st birthday, I was leaving a bar and was so messed up and smoking weed, alcohol, so messed up. Driving down Washington, actually where my brother works, that's where I was drinking at. Crazy thing, right?
Oh, my God.
Oh, that's a horrible place.
For me, it was the Roxy.
Yeah, the Roxy.
Oh, God, the Roxy. When I first went to the Roxy at the age of 18, I met a 15-year-old girl. And I'm sure that's normal.
Yeah, she had a fake ID or something, was able to get in.
Yeah.
Yeah. For me, it was the gay clubs, going to South Beach. And I could just completely be myself and be free, and nobody judged me, you know? But looking back on it, I was just wanting to feel something, you know? Like, I wanted to feel something from these drugs that I was taking. I wanted to feel the happiness, and yeah, it was a journey. But I almost died on all of it. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a miracle, you know, when you make it through hell. That's why my beginner's mind, my desire to help people not, like, get out of drugs. Like, I'm just so good at helping people quit drugs, because I used to do all of it, just like us. We're like, we're like, the amount of people quitting weed on here is astounding. Like, the amount of people that, I'm not doing any more Xanax.
It's amazing.
And all we're doing is just offering wisdom and knowledge. Now we don't claim to be doctor or lawyer, but we just do the best that we can from other people, right? And yeah, you're able to relate, says Mr. Killer Queen. It's the podcast, yeah. And it's priceless though, you know, whenever you almost die, it almost gives you a voice.
Yeah.
But in the beginning you feel shame. Well, I had shame because I mean, being an Asian child, shame was such a huge thing because Asian people are more collectively conscious than like we're worried about what other people think way as part of growing up. Now, people all around the world do, but in the foundation,
just the culture. The
culture, right? We're very collectively conscious, and whenever you always flaunt your children. What are your children doing?
Yeah. Like the doctor, lawyer.
I wasn't doing shit.
Yeah.
You know, he's still in school. That's all they say. And so and I feel like shit whenever they had to say like, hey, what's your son doing now?
Yeah.
He ain't doing shit, right? Because they want to hear the mainstream answer, like he's becoming a pharmacist soon and he's going to Baylor. Or he's going to UT and he's learning to become a graphic designer or whatever, right? Or whatever it is or he's going to study criminology or law. Wow, he's a lawyer, he's gonna be rich. But nobody says my son is gonna love his damn self.
He's meditating all day.
He's meditating all day. I think
he has dreadlocks.
Yeah, he has dreadlocks now. Is he making money? He's working at the Cheesecake Factory. He's working at the Thai restaurant in the Woodlands, and it's almost like, oh, how's that? They just want, you know, but there's a sense of like, shit, I'm not good enough.
I don't know. I feel like working at the restaurants in that industry teaches you so much.
Absolutely.
Because I did that for 7 years.
Absolutely.
In the restaurant industry.
I did it for 10 years. I worked at my first job was working at Cold Stone Creamery. Then I worked at a ton of Thai restaurants for years. It's service. You learn to serve people. But working at the Cheesecake Factory, it taught me how to speak English better. My English I was not very confident. But when you're working at the Cheesecake Factory, you have to present items and specials and
do the whole spiel.
And make it sound delicious and be genuine doing it and not be a seller. My focus was more being authentic because that's what I like. And I didn't give a shit about that. I just did that. I hated it the first 2 years because I'm like, I don't know what the hell the damn shepherd's pie is, or like what is
American food.
Yeah, what's that? Like you have to learn what a club sandwich is and what's the details in a club sandwich, you know. And then what Cheesecake Factory has like food from freaking every country. What the hell are enchiladas? Like, right, and then they opened up with like a skinny menu where they had like mushroom tacos wrapped, or they have the lettuce wrap. And in the beginning, I didn't give a shit. I showed up to the job like hungover. Yeah,
I went back to work on acid one morning.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I took acid, and that lasts for typically like 8-9 hours, right? So we took it super late at night.
Oh my God!
And I was still like having visuals whenever I went back to work or went to work that morning, and my boss saw it in my eyes because he knew. Yeah, we all did it together. Me and the waitresses that worked there.
But it was just you that went to work with it, or
it was just me that had to work that morning. But it was me and 2 other coworkers and my boyfriend. No, he told me not to drink orange juice. That was it. So I had to work a double that day. So I worked the lunch shift, and then thankfully they had a banquet room that wasn't in use. So I went and slept in the banquet room and then worked that night too. Yeah, it was bad. It was really bad.
It's crazy because I used to be the same shit. I used to be the same way. I would not sleep, and then like there was one I keep getting lucky because people at work love me because I learned to be more positive. Even though I had the awakening, I was like in a experimentation part of the acid, of the LSD, and yeah, some days I would just because even though I didn't do drugs as much, I was still doing ecstasy at that time, going to Stereo Live and popping Molly.
Live. Oh my god!
And you don't get that much sleep. And me,
No.
I had insomnia up until 6 years ago. Because why? Because doing all those drugs makes your mind all loopy.
Yeah.
And it makes you not sleep.
Yeah.
And then I had to take melatonin, which means that you weren't gonna freaking wake up.
Yeah.
Or you just don't sleep at all because you're freaking out. Are you going to be okay for work? And then some days I was just too effed up, and I don't know how why did I do that to myself sometimes? But you just don't give a shit. That's why.
You don't.
Your standard for life is so low that you go to work effed up.
Just to have that high the night before.
Some people smoke right at work.
Oh, I used to.
Which is
I
normal.
smoked during high school. On our lunch break, we would leave, go to McDonald's, and smoke. And all of our teachers knew we came back stoned, but we'd bring them back to McDonald's, so they really didn't care. Oh, the small towns. Oh, the small towns. But
it's because they probably smoke too.
yeah. Well, she was fresh out of high school, and we were her first, class after college. So, yeah, it was fun. And then they started drug testing in high school if you did any extracurricular activities or drove to school. And they drug tested me, and I failed, and I was like, okay, I won't drive to school anymore. So I parked across the street so that I could smoke weed. I told the assistant principal, one day we will be legal. And here we are.
I was a good boy until college. I was just a sheltered Thailand boy, a sheltered Thai boy who was raised in a Buddhist community, who just stayed in that. I was so sheltered that I didn't know how to think for myself. Up until I just made dumb decisions by hanging with drug addicts.
Yeah.
And I met through online. So that was a blessing in disguise as hell. And but it began through, I went to college, I was still good, but I went to college for my parents. I didn't want to go to college. I wanted to be in the army. I wanted to go to the army and get disciplined. But that didn't happen. I dropped out I went to take 3 classes, and I didn't drop out of the class. I just took it and just didn't go, so my GPA dropped, making me feel like shit. Then I started street racing for 3 years, which meant I took my Honda Civic SI and I just started street racing, making videos on Saturday night, being focused and more invested in car stuff. And at that time I was working at IKEA selling hot dogs. I sold hot dogs at IKEA, and I met a lot of Latino girls there that were interested in me. And I was in college and all that, and it was a time of ignorance. Right? At that time, I found my first friends with benefit. That was one of my dreams growing up. I just wanted to have sex a lot and had friends with benefit, and I found one online. And that went right, and that was a long journey. Hey, have a good night, miss. And yeah, so you just go through what you think is happiness. You think girls and sex is happiness, so you just go looking for it, and you get it, but it doesn't lead anywhere. And the friends with benefit had feelings for me, and I was like, hey, I thought we were just right, because I just it's funny because my first girlfriend, her parents made me break up with her. That confused the hell out of me. And the second girlfriend I connected with, and we were more sexual. I broke up with her because we were too sexual. because I was still confused about what is this love? Because
you didn't have that emotional connection, right? It was just physical.
Yeah, it was more. It was more physical and like physical attraction because we both didn't know what love was.
Yeah.
And then it just, as I progressed and got more into the world of pornography, I completely got confused. What is love and what is relationship? And that's where, like, and of course the hormones kick in and you're just completely looking for sex and, you know, too much self-stimulation. It makes you all loopy and lack focus and not feel not good enough and disconnected.
Yeah.
But all of that, I didn't know. Like, so many people are still in that. Nobody's talking about it, you know. Hey, shout out to Mystic Heather. Says, hey, lovely people, gonna put this stream on in the background while I fall asleep. Thank you for being real. It feels good to be present together. Thank you for being here. Mystic, I faded into myself says, I'm so scared to eat dinner. I don't know how to make meals that don't hurt me. What do you guys put on chicken salad? And I don't got meat replacement. What do you put on chicken salad? I think you just...
Spinach?
I think... Right, you can put anything on chicken salad. You can make a chicken salad sandwich, right? Or just eat the dang chicken salad.
And I usually just look in my fridge and see what's in there, and I'm like, okay, this looks good on here too.
Mystic Spirit says, being part of this community, village community, has been assisting with being able to become sober. Trying to do it solely on my own and it was such an obstacle beyond thankful. The service industry teaches so much. Absolutely. It taught me how to read people, right? You can read people, but when you read people from compassion is different than reading, are they gonna tip?
Out
are
of
they
judgment.
an asshole? Now, I was able to read if they were gonna tip me or not, of course.
Of course.
So I had that one day where I said 3 people didn't tip me. And I just lovingly, because the way they interact with you, they treat you like shit. When
the way
they don't,
that they speak and
they don't look at you, they don't acknowledge you, they order the thing, they don't want nothing except refills. And that it humbles you to just serve with love, even though they don't give you shit.
Right.
And then you learn from... What I learned is that positivity from the heart is contagious. I've managed to make the whole workplace positive by me promoting positivity, like infectiously. I was infectiously like optimistic and positive, and that the negative people around me didn't want to talk to me because does that sound like you're following your bliss? All right. Hey, if you're focusing on negative shit, how are you going to be happy? I was all so obsessed with happiness, and it helped people. And I listened deeply to how they feel, and I showed them how to like not get angry, even though they didn't tip you. It's okay. Let's focus on so much that I made up a meditation group from work, which was the picture that I showed y'all, the first meditation group. They all are good. Well, the ones that did the work, they found their place, and one's married now, and I think he's serving, but also makes furniture.
Oh, nice.
The other one was an X-ray technician, and she was from a small town like yours, was addicted to meth, and then I was surprised that she was able to get off meth just by venting to me, and trusting my guidance at that point. And, you know, like to quit meth,
That's
holy
huge.
shit.
Huge.
You don't know how hard it is to quit meth.
It's probably one of the most addictive drugs.
Crack would be more.
Yeah.
But it's a crack. It's the same thing. So crack is just,
Smoking, I think, and then meth is, I don't know, powder, I think.
Yeah, and it's just the culture involved with it. It's sexually draining because it makes you like really turned on and just hallucinate and all that. And I've smelled crystal meth before, and it's terrible.
Yeah. I accidentally did crystal meth one time. I got into cocaine for maybe about 6 months because my boyfriend at the time was into it whenever I was in 10th grade.
Gee, what the
Yeah, I was crazy.
10th grade and doing coke.
Yeah, I mean, small towns, there's nothing else to do,
Even
especially.
I heard that here before. Yeah, you can tell skinny as a stick.
Oh my God, I was so skinny. I was so skinny. But I was at this Halloween party, and they put lines out, and they told me it was cocaine, so I did it. I was up for 3 days without any sleep, and it made me hallucinate, made me crazy, and I found out it was crystal meth. And one of my friends that did it with me, it was her first time doing it, and she ended up getting highly addicted to it, to the point where she had to go to rehab, and that's terrible. It was horrible. Thankfully, she's doing well now. She has a loving family that gave her that attention and gave her what she needed. Very loving family. I was actually really close with her mom, but it's terrible, Yeah,
it's sad that shit happens, but shit happens. You can't avoid it. I mean, that's life, We all have our challenges. Some of us deal with drugs. Some of us are wealthy off, but we have to deal with ego. We have to deal with manipulative parents who need us to succeed in a certain way for us to maybe take over the company. Pressure in different ways to have a baby or to continue the family heritage, while we just want to be spiritual, or we want to be just something that, right? Or maybe we become so sheltered that we don't know how to just find our own voice. We maybe feel judged, right? Or some of us are born in victim consciousness, right? We become, so we all have, and some of us come from a country where women don't even have a voice, where you just are in a conservative country where you can't show your skin, you can get stoned to death. Yeah. Or you can't become spiritual, you have to be one way.
Be silent. Yeah.
And even from watching Tony Robbins' I'm Not Your Guru, that lady where to be saved by God, they had to have sex with the men at a young age.
Really?
Yeah. They called it the children's of whatever. And they made up some shit where the children had to have sex in front of their parents while they're watching, and it scarred her, and she made it to Tony Robbins' thing, and she opened up about that, and she wasn't the only. So there's toxic culture all around the world, and when we have healing spaces like the events or streams like this, it allows people to have a venting space. Like, she had to sell her couch to get to that event. Imagine that. Wow. Because when we give it our all, we find something. And just like us, we freaking gave it our all to doing the crazy drugs, but we just suck at giving up. And that's why we're here today.
Yeah, leads to something better.
Welcoming Mystic Peligo, Mystic Gary the Goat, thank you for 2 months of loving your damn self. Let's just ring a singing bowl, because, what we're talking about is deep, is healing, but it's also heavy. So this is a little clearing. Get a stereo audio here.
You have a torch?
Yeah, here. Breathing in. And slowly out. That's why I'm trying to promote people to have more streams that are vulnerable. And not just trying to think, how can I make money? Shit. We would not get this deep if we were just trying to make money. Like, I wouldn't invite you on the stream.
Mm-hmm.
This is not... It's what humanity needs. Vulnerability and just love. So thank you, Mystic Spirit, Mystic Bioman, Biowoman, doing your part. And thank you for people who... It's a sacrifice to serve. Let me put some music to put some rain on with music in the background here. To cleanse.
Some hot water.
Do we need more tea?
No, I'm good.
We're good.
I'm good.
Oh yeah, we're good.
Do you like more tea?
Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go to the Reddit and just let's see. Let's continue going to the wow that worked. Wow, thanks, I'm cured. On Reddit. Here we go. Scroll. Okay, let's go to the top. Excuse me for the flashiness. Okay, so we can go to right here. Rising. Let's go to Rising and see. Oh, wait, that's an ad. Here we go. When you choose to focus, what you choose to focus on will grow.
Mm-hmm.
And that is beautiful.
Yeah.
Right?
Plant the seeds.
What you get what you focus on. If you don't pour it on the worry, you don't get worry. Let me reconnect this a bit here. No, let me. You have to do this. Deactivate, activate. There we go. Similarities in your consciousness. A helix nebula on top. Okay, let's just brain cells. The universe. What we think is the universe from a telescope, or we don't even know. We could be looking into our own brain, and that's the whole point, right? It's just showing you. It's like, I think that, imagine that you have a telescope so powerful that you found yourself through a telescope. And because I don't believe it ends, you can always find a stronger microscope. Imagine it just doesn't end. The depths of the universe is infinite, but we think that's the universe. Please,
it's our perception
give me a
of
break.
it right now.
Just like the universe.
So much more. Yeah, no.
One picture. I mean, that's cute. Okay. But that's our way, right? We see. Maybe if I start working out, eating meat and praying more, life would get better. Yup, that was it.
Is he all muscular with weights and yeah?
This is a Reddit. Wow, thanks, I'm cured. If it was that easy, right?
I didn't realize that Reddit had this many sections. I need to check it out.
Oh, it's infinite. It's updating on its own will. Okay. How to be happy. Stop having thoughts. Shit, that's true. I mean, damn, they hit the nail on the head with this one.
Stop allowing your mind to control you.
Be in the present moment. Okay, so that's the controversial. Excuse me. Okay, let's go to controversial here. In the past year. Let's see here. Here we go. Tired of poverty? Number 1, finish school. 2, take any job. 3, get married. 4, save and invest. 5, give back to your neighborhood. urbancure.org/success. Right, the check boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a blueprint.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blueprint, but it's not limited to just this one path. But it's better than drugs.
Yeah.
But sometimes you want other options, you know. Sometimes you don't want to walk this option.
Take any job.
Take any job.
Make money.
Literally, that's what I tried to do. I tried to finish school, didn't work. Take any job. Yep. You got married.
Yeah.
It being haram, I wish it would. Let's see here. Here we go. Feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list. Take your biggest task and break it down into smaller, more ignorable tasks. Just random. How to cheer up. A, whisper a beep boop to yourself. Repeat until not sad.
Beep boop.
Which is a meditation, a beep boop meditation. Beep.
Beep. Beep boop.
Beep boop. It's a distraction from your worries. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And B, plug your nose and say sneep sneep. Say boop de boop de doop in a really deep voice. Boop de doop. Say bubbles in the angriest voice you can.
Balls.
Literally, this is a guided meditation. Yeah. and the crazy part is that it works if you just do it, right? Like you can make up your own meditation. This is one of them, and it works. So let me get the music back up because the phone. Okay, let's go to the next one. Here we go. A really hard thing. How it feels right now. How it will feel in a month. How it will feel in a year. In a few years.
Yeah.
This is what happened. Like, this is whenever we're going through suicide or the dark thoughts, we're the first dot right there. It never. When you first break up with somebody or when you have a bad breakup, that's number one. After a couple years, oh, ain't that some shit, you know? We learn from it. And sometimes we need these kind of messages. And that's why many people come to Reddit to look for things that may help them, but they don't know it. So the exploration of a creative place like Reddit, because YouTube, it's trying to show you things that are interesting so you can stay on YouTube. Right? But on Reddit, you can choose, because sometimes you want to go to a meme. Laughing things off.
Yeah.
It's how humanity is ignoring their problem right now. Right? And but guess what? That's needed because it's better than feeling like shit.
Yeah. Laughter.
But ignoring that you feel like shit doesn't make it go away either. Which is why the people who are top of Twitch, they make you laugh. And there's some sort of authentic chemistry in helping them escape the reality. And and some of them do insert wisdom, but not all, because I think the fear of giving wrong advice.
Yeah.
That's
it's
one
more
of the
entertainment.
That's like welcoming Mystic Hoff TV. This is Mystic Sparkalicious, by the way.
Good
She's
evening.
here to connect and so the sacrifice to serve humanity, you have to go get over the fear of giving wrong advice.
Mm-hmm.
That's the biggest fear people have in guiding people, because the biggest thing is like the fear of guiding somebody and they suicide.
Yeah.
Imagine how much trust. I had to face that fear too, and I just said, you know what? I'm gonna do the best that I can, but I'm not gonna serve humanity with fear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why what we do on here is so impactful, because I'm literally giving it all I got all the time.
And you trust.
And I trust, and I trust. Because if I don't trust, in the beginning I didn't. So in the back of my mind, well, what if they die if I got him? It's that voice,
it's the second guessing yourself,
which is basically what they call demons or the devil, or Satan, right? It's just a state of mind that doubts. There's a doubting mind, which is the survival mind, because you don't want to harm, you don't want to do harm, so that doubt's telling you, be careful. But when we keep echoing, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, be careful, it may own you. It may own you.
Just have to do it.
But so it's a sacrifice. Most people don't know. It's so subtle. People don't think about this shit, but the things that you overcome, it's like you and your cosmic self knows, your divine self. It knows how much it took to, because it's like many people get curious how I got here, or they don't know the effort. They just come in here and dropping wisdom, thinking that, right, people will give a shit. That's not how it works. But they have to go through that process of just thinking that they can save the world, like that one guy that said, ask me a question, I can answer anything.
I know it all.
But who are you?
Yeah.
Right? It's a sacrifice of showing and getting respect, and then being effective and having results. Right? And then that's the dirty work. And then dealing with trolls, dealing with people who judge you, and being busy. Like, I'm spending 6 hours on here.
Yeah.
5 hours of my life trying to help people. And I love it. But now, what do I have to overcome to be here? I stopped playing video games, stopped watching porn, I stopped eating meat. Like all these distractions of indulgence. Now I still indulge. I had some ultimate chicken today because I'm like...
It's delicious.
It's delicious.
Yeah.
Okay. I had some like guacamole on a tortilla, and I put the ultimate chicken in there with some salsa. It's delicious. You indulge, but not so much. Not so much. Like, I know I had a McDonald's ice cream already this week, even though my mind says McDonald's ice cream would be great, and my heart goes, no, that's sugar. You already had one.
Oh yeah.
Stop it. And I'm like, and even when I went to get ice cream, my mind says, I want a McFlurry. And then it says 800 calories, 700 calories. What the?
Yeah, it's too
much. An ice cream cone, 200. Okay, because at the final stage, my heart goes, ice cream cone. But there are times, if I'm not using my willpower, I will pick McFlurry and choices that aren't healthy for me all the time, which is what people do.
Yeah.
Meditation will help you have more discipline, which is why we're able to sit here again for this long, and you've gotten used to it now. It looks like the more you don't think about it, it just...
Yeah. Because
we're so engaged that we don't have time to be like, ow, my back.
Right.
Right. now I feel it, but it's who gives a shit at this point.
Just your body. No. Yeah, I've been eating more salads recently, but there's a girl in my office who's 7 months pregnant. Oh my God.
She's bringing everything.
Every day that she works, which I only work with her like 3 times a week.
Donut.
Oh my God. She brought donuts yesterday. I had to say no to the donuts because I know like that sugar, it just makes it like gives me a lot of energy that's like unhealthy. You know, I'm like kind of scattered.
Was it fresh donuts at least?
No, I mean, it was Shipley's, which I love Shipley's donuts, but they weren't like the warm ones, you know, whenever they're all warm. Yeah, they were cool. So I was like, okay, I don't need one. And then she brought me back fries from Popeyes, and then I ate the fries from Popeyes, even though I brought my salad.
Cajun fries.
Oh my God, they were so good. And then I was good today until a vendor brought by crumble cookies. Have you ever had those?
Yeah.
Oh my God. It was like an eclair cookie, so it had like the vanilla. Oh my God, it was vanilla, and then it had like a white icing that's like in the middle of the eclairs, and then drizzled chocolate on top. But I only had like a quarter of it, so it was okay. It was balanced. But yeah, the pregnant girl, I have to say no a lot to stuff that she brings to the office.
Yeah, like when my partner, when she's on her period, she just eats a lot more.
Yeah.
And she knows I don't want what she's having. And I'm glad, because oftentimes what she's having, she eating meat. Okay? And so keep that over there. Right? It works out well. And like, and because we're not a couple that like needs to do everything together.
Right.
You do your shit, I do my shit.
Yeah.
We're near each other.
Yeah.
We don't have to be close.
Yeah.
Why? Because we love our damn self. Our focus is self-love, not like kissing each other's ass all the time.
You're doing things that bring you happiness and passion.
And I feel so free and happy because we're working on our dreams. And if she forgets her dreams, I remind her. I don't forget my dreams because I live for this shit. And but yeah, whenever she's on that, it's just like sweets and Coke.
There's a lot of cravings for sure.
Cravings and sodas and moodiness. So I'm like, okay.
And the food helps the moodiness too. So just let her eat.
Yeah, I do what you want. You know, do what you want. But she does care about her body, which helps. Before we didn't, and I work out now in the morning. I do 40 minutes of rollerblading, which I love because it's just like
you get to be outside too. Yeah.
And I love being outside when nobody's out, and you get to breathe the fresh air before all the, and it's very, and it's nice to take care of your body. It's nice to love yourself, love your body.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to start working out in the mornings again. Because I've been going to the park twice a week and then doing yoga twice a week. But I think working out in the mornings would be really good for me. I redid my schedule this week because I noticed I wasn't giving myself enough self-care. So I wrote down, what I needed to do each week for myself. Like meditation and yoga, go to the park. Like I just had to write it down. So it's been helping.
It makes your mind sharper whenever you wake up and meditate. And if you have a routine.
Routines are big, yeah.
And that routine is something that helps expand your mind. It's very beneficial, which is meditation and working out. But now we have to also adjust to our needs. Like you have to find a way to make that life. In the beginning, you don't know how, but you can't give up on your damn self, or else you just become unhealthy. Then you become stressful. Then you make excuses. You make excuses to be unhappy. That's bullshit. You have to do your best to figure out your weakness. Like right now, I figured out that I can deliver Amazon at 7:30. Before, I thought I had to show up at 6, which allowed me to like not do much in the morning because I have to drive there if I had to get there at 6. Well, I found a new, I just was open to a new way, and the universe showed me. Now, I can wake up at 5, meditate till 6, rollerblade from 6 to whenever I need to deliver for Amazon, which allows me to meditate almost for an hour, work out for a good 40 minutes, and then start my day, which is like great.
Yeah.
But before getting there, I had to find, working for Amazon, Amazon Flex, it's the most beneficial side gig you can do because you make the most money consistently.
And you're your own boss.
And you're your own boss. You don't have to go.
Yeah.
And if you don't show up, it's fine.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, your points or whatever go down, but overall, and some days you go there, you don't even need to deliver, and you still get paid. It's like, what? And that's why all the small businesses, all the employees, they're coming to Amazon because it makes more sense in survival, which is what we need. We need to survive to thrive, you know. And that's what it takes. How can you tell the truth is being told? Well, when Facebook blocks it and Twitter deletes it. Ooh.
Yeah.
I would have to agree. Well, it's more about there's truth that's being told, and there's some things that, you know, that someone doesn't want us to know. Right? You heard a guy named Alex Jones? He's a very conspiracy person, but a lot of it, whenever he was on Joe Rogan podcast, they fact-checked it and it's all true. Most of it was true, which like stunned people because he sounds like a crazy guy blabbling, speaking really fast against the lizard people. And like, but when they fact-checked most of what he said, it was like, what the hell? It's true. Which is why he's completely banned off YouTube. And he's, you know, and there's the consequences of being a radical truth speaker, which is why we have to speak the truth in a middle way that doesn't rebel against the system, but still getting the message out to helping people wake up that the system is love. Right? He's expressing more about truth that may be more fear-based, and that's there's crazy shit out there. But we don't want to just magnify crazy shit all the time. We need to find solutions. And we can't just change the government instantly or change the system instantly. But we can be open to love.
Yeah.
Right.
The more that we're open to love, you know, we can spread that to others. And you're not living in a fear-based society as much.
Well, the people in power to control us
It's by fear.
Is by fear.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. And so that's happening constantly because when people unite, they rebel against the system because we don't like control. We like freedom and less control. And so...
And more people speak out.
Yeah, and that's why, like, whenever you see, like, Buddha and Jesus... They're out on the field. They're just in the forest. It's just free. They're not hanging out in like the main city because ain't nothing to worry about. They like being free. But they go to cities because that's where the problems are. Right? What's the point of having wisdom if you're not helping people?
Right.
That's my master calls that. It's like reaching enlightenment and like staying in the cave.
Yeah. You have to spread it.
Spread the knowledge. But the consequences of spreading the knowledge is the dark side. I mean, the Dalai Lama was getting the Chinese government, right, were trying to assassinate him in the past. And Tibet, they're trying to make that Tibet not a country, right? And different things that cannot be spoken. Like Richard Gere, remember the actor? He spoke out during the Oscars to free Tibet.
Oh, yeah.
Now you don't see him at all because the Chinese the CCP, Chinese whatever Chinese Communist Party owns a lot of Hollywood and so much. And on Amazon, where do you think all the products come from? From Walmart, where does all the products come from? So if you're speaking out so there's all these games that you have to learn how to play. But he was willing to take that risk because he was so inspired by the Dalai Lama, and I believe he actually experienced some nirvana and enlightenment enough to like, I ain't got nothing
Speak
to lose this lifetime.
Yeah.
Say it.
Yeah.
And that's how powerful, right?
Yeah.
Spirituality helps us to just make sacrifices when normally we would just shut up and buy shit. Which is why literally we're having these conversations on twitch.tv that may be unheard of on Twitch because it doesn't make money. This shit doesn't make money. And people want to be entertained and be stimulated. They want to hear shit. They want to hear about their shit and giggles and watch memes and relate to people. And so that's why, that's what I do. I engage with people on, but this is a treat for mystics who have been here because we're going so much deeper.
Yeah.
Because we both are like, because we both have a lot of knowledge to share and we're just bringing it out with each other. So that's what I look for. Like when I'm online, I'm not just looking at like random, I'm studying what I can use to share to help people.
Yeah.
Right. When I'm on Reddit, when I'm on, now when I'm on YouTube, sometimes but I'm studying, this is some fake shit.
Yeah.
But it has a ton of likes. Because kids can't detect that yet. Teenagers and stuff, their bullshit detector aren't that great yet. So they're like, oh, be a good person, but it's like fake good person. They
haven't experienced life yet.
Yeah, it's like people from Russia making like these skits of like, oh, there's a mom and a kid walking and the guy's behind a corner and then the kid has wisdom points, right? And then she screams, the police comes and right? Because the kid was smart, saved the day, but it's all like so like made up to where it's so cringy and so inauthentic, but it gets because it looks good and has some moral values, but it's used to get clicks more than teach something, which is so interesting. Mystic Bryce, welcoming you to the Cosmic Podcast. This is Mystic Sparkalicious. You already know her. This is
good evening
from. She also live stream on Sparkalicious 88. Let me do a little shout out here. And it's good. Go ahead.
I love that so many like actors that have influence have started speaking out more. Like Russell Brand, I started following him, and it's authentic truth, and you can feel that authenticity whenever somebody is speaking instead of this made up shit, just for entertainment purposes only. But yeah, I feel like more and more people are speaking out about it. And it's just sad, like money, the way that money just controls so much of how we live, the way that we live.
Influencers are controlled so much, and whenever they can't control them, they just kill them.
Yeah,
that's sad to hear, but I mean, they don't always do that. But I mean, that's what look at like Martin Luther King or Malcolm X, or But at that time, things were way more radical. Yeah. I mean, recently they're a lot more smooth with the way they how Hillary Clinton is known to like people disappearing. Yeah. Lobbyists in South America, especially Colombia, people who would be a good president, they get kidnapped, assassinated, or they kidnap your dog. In America, it's a bit different because in the government, there's good people in there too. There's people who work for the light also. it's leaning towards the dark side, but light can always
win.
Yeah, will always outshine, but it's a balance, it's just, and it's but the more people that help us wake up, then we become pure light, where there's no shadows, which is enlightenment, the emptiness, the now, and which creates amazing leaders. And that's the leader of Burning Man, the founder is that way. But whatever it's becoming right now is becoming more corporate.
Yeah, it's definitely different, right, than what it started out. Because it was a small community in the beginning, right?
Now it's like for Instagram, when the part of the rule is like it's not for that. But it's getting highly corrupted because that's what people do. People go to indulge, and they miss out on the values of what it's really meant to be. It's a radical self-expression, but people are focused more. Like, you're not even supposed to walk around with your phone and all that shit. But people are having straight up model photo shoots
and not experiencing what's happening, and not living the experience. But there's no leader to. That's why, and it's hard to tame something that big. Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, look at Jesus's crew. Not that many people.
It was 12 disciples or so. Yeah.
But now the Buddha had main disciples, but it also wasn't that very much. But when it's too big, because it's the disciples' duty also to create small communities, right? Which means it's just teamwork makes the dream work.
Yeah.
It's not about one person being the savior.
No, it's about everybody putting in the work and going where it is that they're needed to help.
And being peaceful, which is why Buddhism is like nobody, like it's peaceful wherever it goes. It's more peaceful. And peace is a threat to people who want to control.
Yeah.
Which is why the weed was peaceful in the beginning, but now it's gotten so much stronger.
Oh my God, it's crazy.
It's not as peaceful smoking. It's escapism smoking, because you're getting so high that you're not even contemplating life. You're just thinking about random shit.
Yeah. Some of it gets you in your head.
Are aliens real?
Yeah.
Is this real? Is this right?
Is this all an illusion?
Right. And then you start, Kendrick Lamar sounds very good right now. Wow.
Pizza.
Oh yeah, so it becomes about all these superficial happiness, and to speak out against that, you already know the amount of people that hate it when I start to talk about weed. They just straight up leave.
Yeah.
But guess what? That's the work, So I don't always I only bring it up when people bring it up. So it's not that weed is bad. It's the lack of respect for the medicine, the lack of respect for things disconnect us from it, the lack of respect that we have for sex, the lack of respect that we have for our happiness and ourselves will make us indulge more in life. So more shopping is needed. You need more ice cream. You need to eat out more. Yeah. You need fancier car, fancier apartment. And the fanciness is never enough. You need to upgrade your fanciness. And
yeah, that's the world we sometimes live in, right?
Yeah, because we don't know our purpose.
Yeah, you're just looking for validation, I feel like, from others.
When you don't know your purpose, you're just looking for things that stimulate you, that are new. Which is why when people are rich and have money, they constantly are getting the newest car, the newest this. They're upgrading because they don't learn to have enough.
Right.
But as people with wealth learn to be spiritual, they learn the true wealth of just enoughness. And then they find, wait, why don't I help people?
Yeah.
Wow. Right, and that's the awakening. Look at Russell Brand. I mean, he was an actor, was drug addict, had tons of sex, and now he's like, finding it. And it's through comedy and through humor. And there's a lot of, like, Joe Rogan does comedy. Dave Chappelle comedy, but also uses it as a vehicle to speak truth, right? Not perfect, right? And because it's about doing your best to follow your purpose in your heart. No matter how good of a work you do, somebody will hate you. Like, right? I love Bob Marley, but people say, but he smokes weed, right? Some people will love me, but he talks shit about weed.
You're not going to make everybody happy.
Right. I thought he's spiritual. Why don't he smoke weed? Right. I don't like his view. Like, people who are people pleasers, they're not really themselves. They're there to kiss your ass so that they can get your validation because they benefit from you. And that's a lot of people in the mainstream consciousness. And it's a really popular culture of ass kissing, right? Like that's called the victim culture.
Yeah.
We identify as victim and we validate victims. But where's the freaking healing? God damn shit. I am over it. I can say it. On a soapbox all day. Oop. Is it stuck? Okay, not.
It's not working. Mystic malfunction. So what did you do, like Bluetooth to your computer?
This is, here, let me just. Oh, there you go. Oops, I forgot. Gotta switch it. Yeah, it's not Bluetooth. This is from my phone, I use an HDMI cable that connects from my phone into it's called a video adapter. Because I realized I don't want to deal with website if I can just scroll like this.
Yeah, it's convenient.
So convenient. So I can show you, like, I can get on Discord on my phone and show you content from the stream right now.
Yeah.
Ready?
Meow. Meow. Meow.
Overthinking? Have a cup of tea. Heartbroken? Have a cup of tea. With your besties? Have a cup of tea.
I love
In a
this.
party mood? Have a cup of tea. Miss your ex? No, okay. Have a cup of tea. You're happy? Have a cup of tea. A 10 out of 10 has just messaged you. Have a cup of tea. Just failed uni. Cup of tea. This is like the most English thing that I've heard all day.
Cheers.
She's mate. She's lad. Can I have a cup of tea?
Are we on the tea discussion?
Let me see, what is
Positivity. Love that spirit.
Epstein didn't commit suicide. God, that's all I saw. But that's not that good. Stop waiting for Friday.
Oh, God.
For summer, for someone to fall in love with you, for life. Happiness is achieved when you stop waiting for it and make the most out of the moment you are in now. Love your damn self.
Amen, amen, amen.
Wait, it's Friday.
Happy Friday.
We
I don't have work tomorrow.
We don't have to wait. Thank God it's Friday. Okay. Sad things happen, but we don't need to live sad forever. Brain, can you erase these sad memories for me? Sorry, no can do. Sad. Okay. These are your happy memories, though. That's so cute.
That is cute.
That's so cute.
Is that like a bird? What is that?
I think that's
it's like
a goat or
a mouse. I was gonna say no, that's not a mouse. He's cute though, whatever he is.
By Chris Yang. Oh, it's a llama, Lofty llama.
He's cute.
Welcoming Mystic Sapus.
Good evening.
More of a podcast vibe today. You don't need therapy. You just need a hot chocolate. What the heck is going on? What the hell?
I'm not even a fan of hot chocolate.
Yeah, it depends. Yeah. It depends. If you are depressed, you are living the past. Oh yeah. If you are anxious, you are living in the future. If you are at peace, you are living in the present moment. This is that Wu Wei quote. They just changed the Wu Wei quote from Lao Tzu. But of course, nobody really owns these quotes. It's just when you pay attention to life, this is just the truth. Right?
Yeah, so true.
We got to pay respect to our ancestors, people before us. Lao Tzu, The Art of War, right? Which I never read. Because why? I just read my own damn life. Quit your lame excuses, people. Tired? Sleep earlier. Out of shape? Exercise more. But it can't be that simple. No time? Stop watching TV. No money? Get a second job and save. Too hard? Start small and try. Depressed? Watch a funny movie. It's really that simple, but we make it hard, right? You just have to face things more practically in life. Depressed? Why? Lonely. What do you do if you're lonely? Love yourself. Right? But people don't ask this. At least if you don't know, look for love, right?
Yeah. It's important to recognize your feelings too and how you're feeling.
Mr. Gary Nicole says, everybody wants a shortcut. Yeah, just like how everybody wants to take a pill to heal themselves, but it doesn't work, right? Or when we're looking for love, we find sex instead and think it's love.
Do the work.
The shortcut is the instant gratification, which we talk about like all the time. All the time. Wow, we have about 45 minutes left on the stream.
What time is it?
9:44. You can leave right now.
How long have we been streaming for? I didn't realize it was that late.
4 hours and 49 minutes.
Holy crap, that's the longest I've ever sat here.
Yeah. So you can leave anytime. Let me know. You can leave now. But you know.
Yeah, I do need to get home to my dogs.
Okay, so I was like, I didn't know if you were aware of it or not.
No.
Okay. Yay. Thank you, Mystic Sparkalicious.
Thank you for having me. It was fun.
How was today different than last? You got more comfortable?
Yeah, I think I got more comfortable. And it was lighter, I feel like. It was lighter, even though we went deep on some things.
That's why we have this Reddit shit to balance things out. And and I think we have to work on how we can be more engaging to the stream, like tend to more.
Like to the chat.
Yeah.
Because you get caught up in having the conversation, but paying attention to the chat as well.
Because we can go deep with mystics in the chat too, but we're also getting familiar with this process because this is all new to us.
Yeah.
And just flowing more about flowing and opening up and just encouraging engagement. And I think we'll have to see what brings about that. And I think it's also getting closer to the mic, speaking softer, because we're in the ASMR section, but that takes training. You're not just gonna your meditating voice. Imagine that you can speak.
Move this.
Right, because it's more yin energy, right? So as you speak in a more yin vibe, then let me see. Yeah, you could get. So the secret is speaking your relaxed voice the whole time. which is another meditation. So when I tell you I'm meditating the whole stream, we're doing this, I'm mindful of my voice because the audience needs me to speak in a more relaxing voice and engage and just constantly keep up with tending to ASMR vibes. Now, we could get wild with it because we have 4 of these mics. We could both do, but that's
yeah. Let me get the feminine voice first.
Yeah.
We'll go.
You know, and so that's why getting close allows us to speak more gentle, which means we have to be relaxed. To speak in that relaxing tone the whole time. People don't know how difficult it is to speak in this tone the whole stream without whispering. Is easy because you're just speaking that voice and you're restricting. That's like, right? But whenever you speak in a mindful way, you still keep some purity. You're not just selling out to whispering the whole time. You're speaking, and you know what? Like, it's just speaking close and relax. This is basically it. And just watching the volume. And you can even see if you're speaking too loud and it starts to peak a lot. And you're speaking a decent... Now, in the beginning I would monitor, but as you begin to be familiar with more relaxing tones. But I think what's more important is engagement. Yeah. How can we bring out... Because this is what I think about. So when I'm alone, it's automatic. Because it's me and the audience, right? But now with both of us, how can we triangulate?
Right, yeah.
So that we can create something unique and
I think maybe facing the camera more because we've kind of been pointed towards each other a little bit. So maybe both faced at the camera.
And I do look at the camera, engage, and it's more like instead of talking to each other, we're talking to each other through the camera. And because when I'm on, I'm facing that way and I'm directing. And it's not easy. It's not easy for sure to make wisdom interesting, but we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because it needs to be done. You know?
Yeah.
So everybody follow Mystic Sparkalicious. So thank you so much for your willingness to show up, and thank you for being here for that long and doing the work for an extended amount of time and still not getting tired of it. And thank you for doing your best, and because it shows in, you see it.
Yeah.
Your life's changing. Your family is like the biggest thing so far, other than yourself. And it only gets, and the more you surrender and sacrifice, the more. But the leap of faith gets scarier and scarier until you realize there's no fear.
No, thank you. Thank you for having me, and thank you for your wisdom and the community in person and online, because it's really all about community and doing the work ourselves, but having that community to hold each other accountable. So I'm truly, truly grateful, and never imagined I would be streaming, or we would be streaming together. Like, yeah.
Well, the end.
You.
Okay, I'll be back. Let me BRB here. Let me see.